Playoff baseball day has arrived in San Diego. Again, getting used to this feeling here in San Diego, and it feels great. It feels great. And by great, I mean excruciatingly terrible and horrible. Don't know how any of you guys slept last night. We'll get to that in a second. I was up every hour on the hour. Every single hour I woke up, looked at my phone. It was 12:30, 1:30, 2:30, 3:30. And finally at 4, I just said, I'm getting up. I'm getting up and coming to work. So welcome into Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Let's get our let's get our heads right for playoff baseball today at Wrigley Field. I'm Woodsy. To my right, filling in for Paul Reindl is Bald Reindl. Adam Klug, brand manager of 97.3 The Fan. Your hair is coming back in.
I'm due for a haircut to make the make the nickname fit.
Are you mix it up? I notice. Bald.
No,
do you usually go?
I'm just due for a haircut.
Who cuts your hair? Your wife?
I do it myself, and my wife.
She gets the back
finishing touches. Yeah.
Do you do
Can't you tell that I cut my own hair?
I mean, I would too. Just to be fair, I would not go to a barber and be like, "Go ahead, do this." Like a blind guy could cut his own hair if his hair looked like that.
I use clippers. It's just
one. You go one, no guard.
I used to go no guard back when my hair was really, really short. I go with the 2 now.
2 guard. Okay.
Leave a little hair on the top.
All right. Yeah. I mean, you still got some lettuce up there. You know,
I mean, not like the old days.
Not like the old days for sure. I get it. Nobody looked like you in the old days. Literally nobody. Well, you and some of the guys in the Commodores looked the exact same back in the 70s. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us. Well, good morning, Benjamin.
Good morning. Already seen in the chat. Weird vibe, mucho stress. I feel it too.
Yeah, man.
It's not a normal day, and you can't treat it like it's a normal day because it's not. It's almost too important. And I get it. I mean, we're either going to be really, really happy in about 10 hours, or we're going to be really, really sad in about 10 hours. And there's really no in between on a day like this.
Well, let me try to calm you down, everyone, a little bit. Just remember, it's not over. Today, it's not a one and done. It's not a one and done. So just relax. Yeah. Either way it goes. Don't go too hard if they win. And don't go too sad. Don't be too upset if they lose. Ask yourself, are the San Diego Padres capable of winning 2 out of 3 games? The answer is unequivocally yes. It's unequivocally yes. So that's what I keep thinking. I was walking out the door this morning, and I said to Hannah, I go, this is the best, and it's the worst, and we all know that. And she's like, 3 games. And I go, yeah. And I go, I wonder if it would be better if it was just one. Just one game, winner take all in the first round. Now they did this, right?
They used to do it. It was a 1-game wild card.
And I think I would have pissed and moaned. You play 162 games and you get down here. I think I like the 3.
But is there a huge difference between boiling it down to 1 or boiling it down to 3 is what you're saying? Not much of a difference. It's still baseball's version of a roulette wheel, when you get to the playoffs. And the best team is not going to win every 3-game series. They're just not. When you play a team, 6 times over the course of a year, you're going to win 3, you're going to lose 3, you're going to win 4, you're going to lose 2. It doesn't determine necessarily who the best team is by playing a best of 3 series.
But the thing is
who plays better this week.
And Larry in the chat says, like Ben said before, every team that has won the first game goes on to win the series. Is that true? Every single one?
Every single one so far since 2022 when they developed the 3-game wild card series.
All right. I mean, again, here we are already thinking we're going to lose the game. But if they do lose the game, who has done better at losing the first game of a 3-game series and winning the next 2 than the San Diego effing Padres this year? Who's been better?
Either of you want to call this a must-win game?
No, it's not a must-win game.
I agree.
I would like to win it. It would be great to win it.
I like to think of it the other way. If they win, I'll be terrified that they'll still lose the next 2.
That's fair.
I guess I have to be optimistic that if they lost, they could win the next 2 as well.
No question about it. There is a belief in this team. I know there's a belief in the locker room. Certainly, those guys believe in each other. What can you do with the mistakes that the Chicago Cubs make? That's what it boils down to. And can you play clean defense and can you run the bases well? I didn't listen to it entirely, but I saw Todd Strain. He works with Darnay Tripp, my beloved Darnay Tripp. And I saw, how they put out like the video, they're doing a podcast and it has the words over it. So I didn't listen to it, but I saw it. It was like, basically the sentiment was, will all the bunting this year actually help the Padres in the playoffs? And let me say this. when the playoffs get here, you empty the tank. I still don't agree with sacrificing a guy from first to second in a playoff game. I really don't, unless it is absolutely necessary. But giving away those precious outs, I don't necessarily agree with. But, man, if it's first and second, nobody out, and, you want to play for 2 runs with the bullpen that you have, by trying to get guys over, I'm okay with it. I really am. I think that they've employed that strategy so much this year. It's part of who they are and their identity. It could end up helping them win a series. You will not hear any bitching from me if they win games by giving away outs, even actually early in a game, because it's just different in the playoffs.
Both Mike Shildt and Manny Machado said similar things yesterday. Mike Shildt saying, hey, we've already normalized playoff baseball.
They really have.
I think that kind of is a preview that you will see some strategic bunts.
Yeah.
Maybe 1 or 2 that you're not all that happy about. I don't think early in the game it's still the best strategy, even in a playoff game. But as Manny said, now the goal, like it always is, but especially now, is finding a way to win by 1 run. And whatever way that run comes, if it's on a bunt, if it's on a ground ball that moves a runner over, if it's on a solo home run, he won't, not mad about it. It's just you have to find a way just to win the game. It's not about the long term anymore. It's not about, hey, over the long haul, we keep doing this, we're going to be fine. It's now the short term. It's finding a way. And if it's, hey, taking advantage of an error, if it's moving a runner over from second to third with no outs on a bunt, and that wins you the game, no one's going to complain.
See, Sean is calling me out right now. He said, so bunts are okay now. Winning the game is the goal every day. I do agree that trying to win a game is the goal every single day. That being said, in the regular season, guess what exists? Tomorrow. Tomorrow exists. The playoffs are a different animal entirely, which is why, Sean, you see pitchers, hey, man, we just need you for 9 outs. On no planet do you pay a guy $30 million a year to get you 9 outs in the regular season. You just don't. So if you don't see the difference in playoff baseball and regular season baseball, I can't help you.
I think the difference for me, and again, I'm not looking for tons of early bunts.
No, please, God, no.
If you're going to play 100 games and bunting early is going to lead you to win 47 of them and lose 53 of them, that's bad baseball.
Correct.
You want to do something that's going to lead you to win 53 and lose 47.
Correct.
But if you bunt early and it leads you to win 1 out of 1, as opposed to if it's 1 of the 47, you don't care how you get there.
That's
now.
Exactly right.
You just have to be one of those games that you win, and however you get there, it's fine now. You just have to get there.
The other thing is, I feel such a gigantic sense of urgency with this 3-game series. It's like, do whatever it takes to get out of the 3-game series. And once you're out of it, there's a lot more runway in a 5-game series.
This is why I hate reporters, because they use words like urgency. This is a quote from Manny Machado. I don't know if you guys saw this audio yesterday. See, you, Adam, now are making...
I'm talking about as a fan.
I know, as a fan. You're making it bigger than it is. People got really mad at Manny's comments, I did see yesterday or the day before, maybe. When in reality, to me, it does make sense. Like he said essentially, man, and he was smiling when he said, hey, this is why I hate reporters. Because you guys use words like urgency. He goes, it's just baseball. It's just baseball. We catch the ball, we throw the ball, we hit the ball.
Not to the fans, it isn't.
But that's the thing. It should be. And like it's really the best. It's the only way to play if you're a player. The only way. You cannot be like, you can't be on the toilet like we all are in a playoff game. You just can't. You have to be, hey, this is just another game. Now, I do realize I'm going to Cancun a little earlier than I normally would have if we don't compete well and win. But it's just another baseball game. I still have to catch and throw and hit, right? And so, obviously, he's speaking from a player perspective. But that way, that philosophy is really the best way to not only play baseball, it's the best way to do everything in your life. And I mean everything in your life.
I will say,
don't make it bigger than it is.
Over 162 games, are there going to be an inning or two where you maybe lose focus?
No question.
Of course, that's going to be the case.
And that's okay.
But you can't let that happen in a playoff game. But they're not going to. Manny
Correct.
Machado.
He's not going to fall asleep.
It's not going to be, it's game 147, and I was just not locked in for a second or two. Yeah, that would be inexcusable in a playoff game, but that's not what he's talking about. He's not saying I can go and chase butterflies around the infield.
Right.
because it's not that important. It's just baseball.
It's a great mental image.
Yeah. Well, he's coached T-ball one time. You'll see it.
He's saying what you're saying, Woods, and that is the worst thing you can do right now is to try and change everything. You have to play baseball the way that you've been taught it, the way that you've grown up playing it. The right way to play baseball hasn't changed because the regular season changes to the postseason. You could argue that in football or in basketball, they don't give everything the whole time in a regular season because they can't. But in baseball, you're kind of playing the game the whole way through. It's just that's how it is, and they will all be locked in for these games.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that the Padres will be locked in today. Again, doesn't mean you're going to win. It just doesn't mean you're going to win. You're playing at as we learned yesterday, as we knew, but as was confirmed by Jesse Rogers, a volatile park. It's a volatile time of day to play, a volatile baseball park. So weird stuff happens. There's a brick wall out there that's covered with ivy. And if a ball gets smoked into the gap and Gavin Sheets or Jackson Merrill or Fernando Tatis Jr. is running back, there's a brick wall behind them. And they know that that's a brick wall that I'm going to run into any second here. It changes the game. Weird, funky things happen in the playoffs all the time. But I do get the sense that you're going to get the San Diego Padres' best effort. That's one thing I do get the sense. Today, you will get their best effort.
But let me ask you a question. You're right. Manny Machado has to treat this just like any other game in order to perform. He's the talent on the field having to perform. But what about Mike Shildt? You think he's going to manage it like it's game 37?
He can't.
Exactly. That's the point.
He can't.
He can't.
He absolutely. He says he will, but he can't.
Competes to win every game in the regular season. So why do things change in the postseason?
That's just something you say because that's not true. If you managed every game like the postseason, Mason Miller would have 138 appearances a year.
True.
You know what I mean? You just can't. It's just something you say. The mentality is there. It's kind of like I heard something once that blew my mind. We're always talking to players, players and kids of any level and the big leagues on down, right? Oppo, get locked in Oppo, the Oppo gap. Oppo is a state of mind. That's all it is. It's a state of mind. You don't actually go up trying to hit the ball in the gap. It's a state of mind. Just like treating this game today like it's just another game, it's just a state of mind. Of course they're nervous. Of course they're excited. They know what the stakes are. It's just a state of mind of, I'm not going to make this any bigger than it is. The skipper, though, has to be on pins and needles. He has to. He has to be thinking 5, 10, 12 moves down the road.
But he also has to be careful not to
overmanage
Correct. And overreact
Correct.
to these games as well. I think one of the most interesting dilemmas for Mike Shildt is going to be what happens when one of his starting pitchers is pitching well.
That's like the worst thing.
Like Dylan Cease has been named.
It's definitely not the worst
Dylan
thing.
Cease
it's the worst thing.
Dylan Cease has been named the game 2 starter. If he goes out and throws 3 innings to start the game, what do you do? What do you do in the 4th inning? You'd be crazy to take him out, but if you've looked at his numbers, you'd be crazy to leave him in. What happens if Dylan Cease throws
it's the worst
perfect
thing.
innings to start the game tomorrow?
It's
Context
the worst
matters,
thing.
Ben. If you've won game 1 already and you have the lead in game 2, maybe in the 4th or 5th inning, you just bring in the bullpen.
Yeah, pull him.
And you're
did
losing,
you win
you
or
don't
lose
do the
game
same
2 and
thing.
what score matters.
But you'll be second guessed. I mean, like Kevin Cash continually is about Blake Snell years later.
What
do you do if he's pitching really well?
Like I said, it's the worst thing. It's just the worst. It's not, again, it's not 1979 where you're like, hey, bud, I got a starting pitcher. You're going to throw 120 pitches, and I'm going to smoke a cigarette on the bench and wait for you to throw 120 pitches, and we'll see where we are at that point. It's not.
I'm just saying it's not worse than him getting shelled.
He goes out and throws 3 perfect innings, and then Mike Shildt's like, guys hit like 500 off of him in the second time through the lineup. I'm pulling him.
Okay, so then do you want to use Michael King as a piggyback? Do you want to go King
maybe.
for 3 and Cease for 3 and King?
There's
for
a
3?
million options, and again, I think it's dumb to play scenarios forward until we've seen what happens tonight. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. But look, they have the bullpen to get the job done. Will it be deployed correctly is a question you can ask, and we won't know until we see it. Will they be effective? We don't know until we see it. Will the offense be able to score runs? We don't know until we see it. But I'm telling you, my whole thing is do what you have to do to win that game by 1 run. And if that means bunting, yes, do what you have to do, Shildt. But again, against the Rockies in the first inning, when Fernando Tatis Jr. gets a single, I don't want a 3-time batting champion bunting. I don't. You know why? Because it doesn't matter at that point. Like, let that guy swing away, play for a big inning. So it's not the same. Playoff baseball is a totally different animal. And you got to figure, if you got to stick your elbow out and get hit by a pitch, you do what you have to do. So it's going to be so much fun, so excruciating. I am excited there's an early game because it's, kind of gets you in the feel, right? It's going to be Guardians and Tigers at 10 a.m. So you get home or you're at work or whatever, you do get a little taste of, you don't just go in cold, right? Like, you're the first game, you're like, oh, this is untenable.
You mentioned leaving work, going for work. Like, bosses have to let people off work for this game, right? At noon.
You would think so in San Diego, but I don't know. I don't know. I
like the boss who doesn't let his employees. I mean, look, unless you're running a restaurant or something.
Yeah, we did this yesterday in the open, and it just would go a long way with me if my boss was like, not you guys, if I had a normal job, that they said, dude, I know you're a Padres fan. Just go watch a game.
But do they also let you off tomorrow and Thursday if the game is again at noon?
I think it comes back to you.
You're taking a vacation week at this point.
I think it comes back to you
vacation month.
You work the morning. You work the morning and then go. Hey man, go work from home for the rest of the day if you're able. I think at that point that makes me want to run through a wall for my boss. I'm super excited about being able to go and because again that 12:08. Start time is a rough one. It's a rough one, and I totally get that. So a lot of you guys out there will be, like Ben said yesterday, surreptitiously listening on your earbuds right here on 97.3 The Fan. You can stream it at your desk. I mean, look, it's 2025. You can find a way to watch a game if you want to. For those of you, I saw one guy said, dude, we happen to have like a pre-agreed upon training from like 11 to 3:30. And I was like, I'm so sorry. You're going to get your noties on your phone. You can look down and check the score, but that's about it.
Or you can do a Chris Ello, record the game and try to
avoid your phone
life for hours and hours and then go watch it. I don't know that that's even possible.
Got in the chat, there's Megan, Paulie's wife, says checking in from headquarters. Thanks, Adam, for letting me have him today. Yeah, Paulie and Megan are moving into a new place today. Very happy for them. I'm happy for them, but I'm also not jealous of them at all because the move is really, really, it's a real stressor. You throw some playoff baseball on top of that, it is about as bad as it gets.
Well, I know they're moving kind of down the 15 freeway. Yesterday, there was a plane on that freeway.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, landed right on the 15, just down here, I think. It was very
Everybody
close.
Okay?
Everyone was okay, I believe. It was a nice, safe landing in the middle of the freeway. Just before rush hour, which is usually perfect. Why don't we see how things are going this morning? And we'll set the menu after a quick check of traffic from Kelly Danick here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855.
Water less than 1.5 miles from the spring source, and all of their bottles are made with 50% recycled plastic from their own recycling plants. Crystal Geyser, bottled at the spring source. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Thank you, Kelly. We have a very busy Playoff Tuesday program for you today here on Ben & Woods. Coming up at 7 o'clock, our first of 3 guests from Wrigley Field. Jesse Agler, the voice of the Padres, will join us at 7 a.m. for a little early, regular Tuesday feature, but a little bit early as he gets ready for his play-by-play with Tony Gwynn Jr. coming up at noon today here on 97.3 The Fan. 7:35, we moved our Linsider, Dennis Lin, back. Going to talk about his piece on AJ Preller that dropped yesterday, all the food quirks, the basketball playing, and the little nugget at the end that says, AJ's job status isn't necessarily that firm in San Diego. With 1 year left on his contract, the powers that be are certainly evaluating AJ based on how this postseason goes, and there's no guarantee that AJ is back for the long haul, or even, I guess, next season is a possibility. I'd be surprised, based on what they've done this year, but I think AJ's done a pretty darn good job as general manager, but at some point you do have to win the championship that you've promised, and you only get so many bites at the apple. So that'll be an interesting topic with Dennis Lin coming up at 7:35.
Yeah, it was certainly an interesting topic yesterday. Our man Darren Smith, who we have on every Friday, put out a little audiogram. He did something on his podcast talking about it. And he said, essentially, I don't want to misquote him, but he said he's not going to be surprised if AJ Preller is not back. And, I was talking to some buddies about it yesterday, and I thought, man, if you had said 5 years ago, I would have said, fine, it's time, right? Like, let's get a new voice. Now I look at it and go, ooh, man, I don't know how I would feel. I don't think I would feel very good at all. There's that line, Ben, of how long do you give somebody to finish the job? And are you headed in the right direction? And there's definitely arrows that point to no, but there's huge arrows that point to yes. The fact that we just won 90 games again for the second year in a row, I think firing your general manager when seemingly, you don't want to say he's figured it out. We do have the worst farm system in baseball, but that's also kind of how we made the playoffs. And we have ultimate confidence in AJ Preller to rebuild said farm system as he's done every year. I think you would miss him. And I think I'd give the guy another 3 to 5 easily. I wouldn't even think twice about it.
If you get rid of him, would another team snatch him up?
In a New York minute.
That's all you need
and
to
I
know.
do mean New York minute. Yeah. And I do mean New York.
Isn't that all you need to know?
In a second.
No, I think here's the question that I think you need to have answered. And it's true. AJ Preller has had a much longer leash than almost every executive in baseball, thanks to one Peter Seidler.
Yeah.
Who gave him...
We thought Peter was crazy, didn't we?
Incredibly long leash. But the question that you need to ask is not would he be hired somewhere else, not does he deserve to stay. The question is, do you think you can find someone better?
Correct.
If the answer is yes, then AJ should be gone tomorrow. If you think you have someone better who can do a better job of winning a World Series here in San Diego, so long, AJ.
Purple says
Who's that person, though? I have no idea, and I think it'll be very difficult to find that person that you think is definitely better than AJ Preller.
Purple said he's had a decade, accomplished nothing. This is insane. There are layers to accomplishments. There are. They're just if it's World Series or bust, you're right. He's failed miserably. But again, there are layers of it. This feels fun to me. Talking again, playoffs 4th time in 6 years is fun to me. I like that.
Let's
for my
continue
team.
this discussion. We'll take a little time out because I think it's an important discussion. Going to occupy our 6:30 segment coming up here. We also have in-season Sammy's going to join us from Wrigley Field at 8 o'clock, and we will carry live the day of press conferences. Mike Shildt will speak again at 8:45. Dylan Cease, the Game 2 starter, is going to talk. Fernando Tatis Jr. is going to talk. That'll all come around the 8:45 to 9:30 window. So we will go live to Wrigley Field for the pregame news conferences from Game 1 of the National League Wildcard Series. Our regular features as well. Don't do this. Take on Woods, chance to qualify for the Sphere tickets at the Eagles in Las Vegas, and more. All coming up on a playoff Tuesday. Big day, San Diego. We're here for you. It's Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Get it, keep it going.
And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open.
How that works out, isn't it? It's the walk-up song for Charlie Blackmon, Padre killer, for many, many years. Pretty big announcement for Ben and Woods right now.
Yes,
Tease
tomorrow,
ahead.
big day tomorrow, of course, here at 97.3 The Fan. But part of that big day will include a little postseason analysis in studio from one Buddy Black is going to join us.
Charlie Blackmon's old manager.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's going to come in, talk a little playoff baseball, see what Buddy's been up to.
Oh, I can't wait.
One
dude.
of the many skippers in baseball who are tier ones. Love having Buddy in and going to show us his love after, of course, he parted ways with the Rockies earlier this year. What does the future have in store for Buddy Black? He'll talk some Padres. He'll talk some NL West and talk some playoff baseball with us tomorrow. Of course, tomorrow is also our big watch party. You can join Ben and Woods, the Braden Soprenit Show, the Gwynn and Chris Show for a postseason watch party at Park 101 in Carlsbad, PRK 101 to watch Game 2, San Diego, Chicago. Park 101, a bi-level sports bar with a rooftop deck and huge screens. North County's best barbecue, craft cocktails, and we'll be giving away autographed baseballs, all presented by Estrella Jalisco Light Mexican Lager. Join us tomorrow at Park 101, located at 3040 Carlsbad Boulevard in the Carlsbad Village.
Somebody tweeted me. They go, wait, autographed baseballs. Because we said, hey, Ben's going to be there. I'm going to be there. Paulie's going to be there. Who are the autograph? We're not autographing. Okay,
I don't think we can say on the air who we're giving away, but I would think
I can say.
Oh, you can say. Thank you, Adam.
I've got a ball signed by Yu Darvish,
Ooh.
a ball signed by Joe Musgrove,
Nice.
and a ball signed by Jake Cronenworth that we'll be giving away tomorrow.
One an hour, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay. I may take the Yu Darvish one just for myself.
You have to fight Woodsy for it.
Fight me for a Yu Darvish ball is a really good bit. You get it because we're not on the air, so we can do like some. I know you like video viral content. Fist fight to not the death, but nothing above the neck, and then the winner
tap out.
The winner gets. Ooh, we should do one of those slap fight. Slap things.
You have to hold.
You have to hold still, and
person slap
whack.
you.
Would you do that ever?
It's my nightmare.
Let's do
I
it.
don't like getting hit in the face. I really don't like getting hit in the face.
Let's do it at the Christmas and holiday extravaganza. Please. We need ideas.
No, I'm taking a stand on this one. I hate getting hit in the face. I hate getting
When's the last time you got hit in the face?
Just accidentally, I don't even like getting accidentally flicked in the face. To get slapped in the face is like my nightmare.
Really?
Oh, I hate anything.
Have you ever been slapped in the face full on?
Accidentally, I think, kind of, but not.
Who accidentally slaps you in the face?
I don't know. Like my brother when we were fighting. He wasn't going for the face.
He wasn't trying to hit you.
Trying to hit me in the face. But don't want to. I don't understand how those guys do it in those videos.
I can't stop watching.
I could not hold myself still and let someone hit me in the face.
Bro, you got to close your eyes.
I guess so.
You just have to close your eyes and which is even worse because you can kind of see it coming. You can brace yourself. All right, well, I'll probably just give the Yu Darvish ball away then, since Ben doesn't want to engage in any slap fighting.
No, don't.
Would you rather do a punch in the arm hard? Because I don't like that.
No, I'd rather be punched in the
frog
arm hard.
I don't like being frog.
I don't like it, but way better than anything in the face.
Oh, it's good. All right,
Buddy in good company though, because not only guy with a resume out of a job today.
Yeah.
Bruce Bochy announced yesterday that he will not return as the Rangers manager. Now, his contract was up after 3 seasons, and after meeting with Chris Young, they decided to go separate ways. I get the sense that Boch would have been interested in coming back, but Chris Young was like, I think we've run our course here after 3 years. You can argue there's no better ever managerial signing than what they got for Bruce Bochy.
Right.
You got a World Series title, signed him for 3 years. He played out his 3 years, and now you move on. You didn't have to extend him. You got exactly what you wanted out of Bruce Bochy.
You got a World Series title, your first World Series title in franchise history. And then, a couple of did they make the playoffs the year after? No, they didn't.
They missed the playoffs the last 2 years.
Last two.
Disappointing last 2 years, but now you can, because of that, move on freely to the next iteration of Rangers baseball.
Obviously, there's a lot of smoke going on in San Francisco now because Bob Melvin was also dismissed yesterday after he didn't get an extension. They picked up his option mid-season. And then they just said, we picked up your option. We're going to eat that option and feel free to sit on the...
Imagine being able to light money on fire like that.
It's crazy, right? Just be like,
change our mind.
But I mean, what a good, those contracts are so elite. If I had, because we have what, a year and a couple months left
over there.
Yeah, we have a year and a couple months left. You fire me today and I sit on my ass for a year until I get another gig and get paid. It's the greatest gig of all time.
I don't think our contracts are guaranteed like that.
We get about 90 days, so that's super fun. You can give us a 10-year deal. It really boils down to about 90 days. Yeah. So you sign me for 10 years.
I know the rumors out there that Boch could return to San Francisco.
So that's the smoke. But I follow a lot of Giants fans. I follow a lot of Giants reporters. The sentiment I got was this. If I could sum it up in a sound, it was, he's obviously beyond a legend in San Francisco, right? Has he lost his fastball?
Won a World Series.
Won a World Series two years ago, right? But I think with Buster, Buster was talking about we're in the memory making business here. What's a better memory for Giants fans than Bruce Bochy leading the team? I just don't know. It obviously makes. I actually fear for Buster's sake, unless he's 100% in. It makes so much sense that he's probably feeling beholden to do it.
I'm curious what the real circumstances were leaving the first time for Bruce Bochy in San Francisco. Now, this was before Buster Posey had taken over as president of baseball operations. It was framed as Boch retiring, like he needed to step away, health. It was just time to move on from San Francisco. But when he took the job with the Rangers, what was it, 2 years later, you more got the sense, well, was he really pushed out the door a little bit in San Francisco? Because he wasn't right. He wasn't content in retirement. Which happens. Maybe he changed his mind. That happens to people who retire and realize, no, I got more to give. I want to come back, and my old job's been taken, so I'm ready to go somewhere else. Would San Francisco want exactly to have him back? I don't know the answer to that question.
What's the minimum amount of time you have to, whether it's Bochy committing to it or the organization be willing to accept when you bring in a guy like that? Because it reminds me of Bill Belichick when he was trying to get another NFL job, and people are like, well, how long are you going to be around? We got to change the entire organization, and then you're going to be gone in 2 years, 3 years.
The Giants would be more than happy to get a 3-year deal and one more World Series out of Bruce Bochy, just like the Rangers did.
Anybody would be happy with 3 years and a World Series, but what if he doesn't know and can't commit to that?
If you can't commit to 3 years, you better have a well-defined succession plan in place. I wonder if the Rangers did. I mean, the rumor, of course, is Skip Schumacher, who was hired
Bochy's 70. Just look it up.
Yeah,
70.
The rumor is Skip Schumacher, hired as the special assistant for the Rangers, is in line for the job. But as we've heard from Skip many times, he likes being here in California. He was still based in California for that job.
Yeah, I think he went to Texas like twice.
You would not be able to be based in California while managing the Rangers all season.
You mean I can't do this from home? Here in Orange County, I can't do it? Okay.
Yell at the umpires. Just take an iPad out and I'll yell at the umpires that way from home. That's not going to work.
FaceTime.
So I don't know if Skip Schumacher is definitely the next manager he might have a better chance of being the next manager of the San Francisco Giants.
Yeah.
Maybe than the Texas Rangers. We really don't know the answer to that question, but you'd have to have a succession plan in place. If you hire a 70-year-old Bruce Bochy.
Yes.
Who's the bench coach? Who's the manager in waiting? Who's your Brian Dutcher to your Steve Fisher? In that case, if you're age 70, I would think that you're hiring two managers essentially if you hire Bruce Bochy at this point.
It's wild because everybody thought in Miami when Skip was there, and then they also hired Gabe Kapler. Everyone was super surprised when Skip left and they didn't hire Kapler. They hired Clayton McCullum instead, the Dodgers, one of the old Dodger coaches. And he did a pretty fine job for them this year, all things considered. So, yeah, what oftentimes makes the most sense isn't what happens. Now, Buster Posey may not want to deal with a 70-year-old Bruce Bochy anymore, right? Like, maybe they did. Obviously, that was his skipper. He has massive respect for him. They won a lot of World Series together. I wonder if Buster has that nagging, gnawing feeling where it's like, okay, like, I guess I kind of have to do this now. Like, everybody expects me to do it. I kind of have to do it. But again, it's up to Boch if he wants to keep going. And again, Buddy Black was a name I saw thrown out yesterday for the Giants as well. And I went, okay, well, that's interesting. We'll ask Buddy all of this stuff tomorrow when he's in studio for an hour.
And one other manager.
I bet you we can get him to stay longer.
Probably.
Than an hour.
Yeah, he's already down here.
We'll ply him with all the delicious food and catering that we have.
Too bad we don't have a roundtable tomorrow.
Yeah. 100%.
One other good manager, I think a good manager who got a pink slip yesterday is Rocco Baldelli.
That's tough, man.
Didn't end well the last couple of seasons with the Twins, but
I like
they had
that
ownership problems as well. Just really good baseball guy. Everyone speaks so highly of Rocco, and I do believe he will get another job. Will it be this offseason? I'm not sure, but I don't think you've seen the last of Rocco Baldelli as a major league manager. So those were the Black Monday moves yesterday in Major League Baseball. We will talk more about AJ Preller's status and whether he could be, worried about losing his job coming up right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Jack in the Box. We still have a couple of problems along the 15 in the North County. 2-car collision, southbound side, right before Old Highway 395. It's over to the right shoulder. And a solo vehicle accident, northbound 15 before Miramar Way. That's over to the right shoulder. Your hunt for the perfect breakfast sandwich is over. Jack in the Box's sourdough scramblers, starting at $3.49, come with toasted sourdough, scrambled eggs, melty cheese, and your choice of hickory smoked bacon or grilled sausage. Then does you one better by being available all day. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I think one thing that we have to figure out before we discuss AJ Preller's future is exactly who is making the decision on AJ Preller's future. I guess right now you'd say John Seidler has the final say. I would imagine CEO Eric Grupner is part of that decision-making process about AJ Preller's future.
Remind people why you're talking about AJ Preller's future.
Because,
Did he just air check you in the middle of your own show?
No, it's not an air check.
He just air checked you. Reset, Ben. Does that bring back bad memories
Dennis
from Mighty
Lin,
1090?
Dennis Lin from The Athletic, who's going to join us at 7:35, wrote about AJ Preller extensively yesterday, including talk that his future with the San Diego Padres is less than secure with 1 year left on his deal. And AJ himself deflected questions on the last homestand about a possible extension, said, hey, we're not talking about that right now. We're not focused on that right now.
Keep our focus on the field.
I don't know if that's smoke or not, or simply good GMing to, not talk about yourself at an important part of the season. But the questions will remain until AJ Preller gets an extension. And then our friend Darren Smith on his podcast, laid out a scenario where he thinks AJ Preller's job is very much in jeopardy, possibly this season if the Padres make a quick exit in the postseason. A disappointing end for, a second year in a row in the playoffs. So I think the first thing you have to do is who's making that call? John Seidler, Eric Grupner, are they the ones that are probably making that call? Remember, we still have the lawsuit that we haven't heard about in months since before the season involving ownership of the San Diego Padres in probate court. I don't think it's moved along much, but it hasn't gone away either. I do know that, I think Shildt, Seidler, and AJ have been pretty close based on what I've seen over the years. I don't know if that affects AJ's future at all as well. So who makes that decision is the first question. Now, if it's ownership and it's John Seidler, would you guys agree that there's a lot of owners around baseball who would go and look at the job that AJ Preller has done and go, yeah, he didn't win a World Series, but man, they sell out every single game at Petco Park. I wish my GM could put together a team that sells out my ballpark every single game. To me, that looks like he's the most successful general manager in baseball because I'm the owner. And while I'd love to win a World Series, I'd love to win a World Series because, well, that should fill my ballpark. But he's doing it without even winning the World Series. That's interesting. Doesn't that make AJ Preller more successful than any other general manager in baseball? If that's ultimately, it's a business, right? And if you're getting tons of people in the door, you're successful in what you're doing as a business leader.
72, 73 sellouts this year?
72?
72 sellouts this year? I mean, that's no joke, man. That's no joke. And you're right. You're telling me Bob Nutting wouldn't want 73 sellouts in Pittsburgh, and
he might not be able to stomach how they got there by spending some money.
But the Baltimore Orioles, with all their young talent, that they refuse to trade. I mean, what would the Orioles look like right now if AJ Preller was the GM the last 2 seasons? They'd be in the postseason today, bar none.
No doubt.
Unequivocally. In the postseason today, if AJ Preller had taken over the Baltimore Orioles job after the disappointing 2023 season here, where all the high-paid stars refused to win and make the playoffs, he gets canned. Baltimore hires him. They're in the postseason today as one of the favorites. Guaranteed. I would put my house on it, right? With all that talent that he could have traded away, built a roster, money to spend, there's no question. There's no question. He gets snatched up, Ben. If he's fired at 5, he's on the phone by 6, working out a new deal with Boston, with New York. Somebody will hire that guy ASAP. 5 years ago, if you had said it's time for a new voice, and I think maybe we did 5 years ago, I said I agree. I do agree. Over these 5 years, I have seen some playoff teams. I've seen really good runs. At some point, it has to be on the players. It really is always on the players. AJ has had resources, certainly. He's also been able to squeeze the rag of resources better than anybody else has been able to do it, in my opinion. When they've limited his resources, he still found a way to get it done. He still finds a way to get good talent here through his laborious scouting and his detail-oriented scouting.
Remember, payroll went down after 2023 considerably, and AJ put the win total up.
Yes.
2 back-to-back 90-plus win seasons after having his payroll slashed after 2023.
And so, again, man, listen, I think for all of it, we're probably all better at our jobs in year 10 than we were in year 1. We are. We've learned. We have a little bit more wisdom. I think it would be malpractice to let this guy go right now. I really do. I really do. And I hope he stays. And I know that, the World Series or bust. I am a World Series or bust guy. He has not gotten the job done. And he would be the first guy to tell you we haven't gotten the job done there. But I think to start from ground zero.
Well, again, the question is, who are you going to hire that you think is better? Are you giving a green assistant GM their first shot?
Some kid out of Yale or something.
And then we have to go through another 6 years of learning process while he gets his feet under him and figures out, to get to the level where AJ Preller got to after so many years. I don't know that I want that.
Matty says AJ has his hooks deep in the morning show. Matty, he doesn't even like us. All right. So we don't really have that kind of relationship. But that's not it at all. Really. It's like I watch this and I go, I start to like the guy more and more every time I talk to him. And I start to appreciate the job that he's done more and more.
There's an absolute chance that the bottom falls out in the next couple of years. I mean, the farm system runs dry.
100%.
The aging players who have been signed to mega deals, drop significantly in production.
Absolutely.
There is a scenario where the Padres become a sub 500 team for a couple of years and you get some dark days ahead. And that would be on AJ Preller. That one thing that he's been trying to do sustainable, but he's been robbing Peter to pay Paul. Literally, for a while, he was robbing Peter
Seidler, to pay
to
Paul.
play Manny and pay you and to pay Fernando. He was robbing Peter to pay all of them. And at some point, the bill does become due. Now, he also continues to reload the farm system every single time with new talent that he can then trade away for controllable players. I mean, I thought next year was going to be trouble, but now Ramon Laureano is coming back. Nick Pivetta is, signed for next year. Joe Musgrove should be back next year. Next year looks pretty promising for the San Diego Padres. I mean, we're not done with this year, but I'm certainly not thinking next year is the year the bottom drops out. He keeps pushing that window further open and continues to keep it open down the line. So he's doing something right.
Who's the best general manager in baseball? Should be an easy. We cover baseball for a living. Who is the best general manager in the game of baseball today? Should be an easy one.
It's not an easy one.
Exactly. Who's the best? Is it
Andrew Friedman?
It's got to be Andrew Friedman because nobody would
resources than God.
Nobody would sign Tanner Scott to a $72 million deal. Wait, Andrew Friedman did. Nobody would not bolster their bullpen at the deadline with a glut of prospects to choose from. Oh, wait, Andrew Friedman did. He makes great moves. He also has unlimited resources. Unlimited. He can make any move he wants on the planet.
GM. Well, they seem to be.
He's pretty good.
He's doing a pretty good job.
Yeah. He's Chris Antonetti, maybe. Does that sound right? He's really good. He's good. Is he the best? How many World Series has he won?
Matt Arnold.
Who's Chris Antonetti? Is it their old one?
I think he's in Cleveland.
Oh, Cleveland. Another good one.
And who does a good
Another
job.
good one. Again, with limited resources. So, again, it's kind of a tough question to answer.
Before we go, as we head to the top of the hour, we got a giveaway early in the show today. We got tickets for the NBA exhibition game coming up this weekend. Nuggets, Timberwolves at Pechanga Arena on October 4th. If you want to win, call right now. Sixth caller, 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Tickets on sale now at AXS.com. Nuggets, Timberwolves will be back next on The Fan. to it. Ben and Woods. Congratulations to Fernando. Just won the tickets to Pechanga Arena for the basketball exhibition game this weekend. Nuggets Timberwolves. But we are talking baseball. It is a playoff Tuesday for your San Diego Padres. And because it's Tuesday, joining us a little bit early because he's got a 12 o'clock Pacific, 2 o'clock Central game to call here on 97.3 The Fan. The voice of the Padres, Jesse Agler, is with us from Chicago, Illinois. Good morning, Jesse.
Good morning, guys. Happy playoffs to you.
Happy playoffs to you, my friend. Thank you again for a fantastic season. And this is what we live for. I woke up, Jesse. I'm not kidding. I woke up every hour on the hour last night. I mean, like 12:30, 1:30, 2:30, 3:30, every hour on the hour. And I jumped out of bed and was like, I feel fine. I'm ready to go.
I'm right there with you. I same thing. Woke up pretty much every hour all night long. Ended up getting up like an hour and a half before my alarm was set and just decided to get ready. And now I've just been sitting here waiting for you guys to call, and then I'm gonna head to the ballpark. So it's it's the whole point. This is it. This is all those random crappy games against the whoever's. I'm not gonna drag any team today. I don't want that karma. But those random midsummer games against whatever team on a Wednesday, and nobody's there on the road, and it's. You just kind of grind your way through it. And now all of a sudden it's going to be Wrigley Field on a beautiful sunny afternoon in a playoff game. And I mean, it's everything you dream of.
Well, you did get some work done this morning. I got a Beyond the Booth Jesse Agler newsletter. Welcome to October. In the chat, everyone says great newsletter. And you make a great point that I knew, but I like seeing it in writing as well. And it seems so simple. But if everything breaks the right way, you can go 13-9 over your next 22 games and win a World Series. It doesn't sound as impossible as it feels. 13-9 really can get it done if they're the right 13 games.
That's exactly right. And, there was a part of me that started to look back when I was writing that last night and kind of, see how many chunks this year the Padres went 13-9. And it became a little bit of a cumbersome math project, and I gave up on it. But obviously, I think we all know just from watching, there's a lot of them, right? There's a lot of chunks this season in which the Padres went 13-9 or obviously better. And again, look, there's no weak sisters anymore, right? There's no more games against, teams that are going to finish with 100 losses as the Padres had throughout the regular season and as every team has throughout the regular season. But, it really feels kind of doable, and you're trying to win 13 games in the next month. That's another way to look at it. And if you do that, you're going to accomplish something that's never been accomplished here. And we are going to have quite a party downtown.
Would be the ultimate capper to a grindy season, as the skipper called it. And you just kind of referred to some of that grind for you, the voice of the Padres too. That's we feel it as well. I know the fans feel it as well. It was a grindy season for these guys, but I love that it's all at zero. Everybody's at zero. Anybody struggling and your numbers off lefties don't matter. They just don't matter, Jesse. Everyone is sitting at zero with a fresh new season, like you said, a 22-game season potentially, and you could be a world champion at the end of it. When you look at this Padres team, how they're going to be set up today, how wild, how creative, I think, how creative do you think Mike Shildt will be in this game one? And is it dependent on what they do off the starter here in the first couple innings?
In terms of bullpen usage,
bullpen deployment, what's the lineup, going to look like? Is it going to be, the same, right, left, kind of all the way down?
I don't know. The lineup is interesting because, without Laureano, we've seen a bunch of games in the last, week and a half, 2 weeks, where you had that run of lefties, kind of towards the bottom, where it was like Sheets, O'Hearn, Cronenworth, all together. I don't know that they're going to stick with that, but I also don't know how easy it is to get away from that unless you do something like that Freddie Fermin eighth, and I think they like Freddie Fermin or, of course, Elias Diaz potentially, hopefully, with Nick Pivetta today ninth. So I'm very curious about the lineup because I think there's a lot of ways against the lefty starter that we could talk about it. And I really don't have a sense of what they're going to do. They've obviously kept that very, close to the vest as they should. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to seeing the lineup from that perspective and kind of seeing, all right, are we just going to kind of stick with what we've done? Which there's certainly an argument for that, obviously, with the success that they've had. Or is there all right, let's mix it up a little bit here and try something. I think today is the day, in a perfect world, where, they're going to treat Nick Pivetta the way they would have treated him in August or July or whatever. If he can give you 6-7 strong, like they're going to go with it. I think, tomorrow, and then this is obviously putting game 3 off to the side for a moment, but I think tomorrow with Cease, it's probably a little bit of a different thing. Where if they can get, 3 innings out of him, 4 innings out of him, and things are going well, especially if they win today, or even if they lose today, maybe they'll just hand it over to those big guns at the back of the bullpen. Don't push your luck. Now, if the offense explodes tomorrow and they've got a 10-1 lead with Dylan Cease on the mound, then that's something else altogether. But my sense today is probably going to be the normal-ish one, obviously contingent upon what actually happens, runs-wise for both teams. But my gut says from the Padre pitching perspective, today is like the most normal day of the potential 3 days here in Chicago.
Jesse, do you buy the notion, and Mike Shildt was kind of pushing it a little bit yesterday in his workout news conference, that this San Diego Padres team in particular is well built for the playoffs because of the style of baseball they've played and the kind of games that they've played all season?
Yeah, I mean, that goes back to the grindy thing, we were just talking about. And, Tony and I started saying on the air, probably in June, man, nothing has come easy for this team this year. You think about the heart of this season, and it seemed like every game was close. Remember, you're running Jason Adam out there every single night, it felt like, all year long, because the game called for it. And, I do think there's something to being battle tested. I do think there's something to being comfortable in those one-run games. They've got about as many wins as any team, that the Padres have ever had coming back from 2 or more runs. So they're okay in those spots. They're battle tested. They're experienced in those spots. They know how to win a grindy game. If, as we all know, there's a situation that calls for a bunt, they're more than comfortable doing that.
Indeed.
All those things, matter come here. So yes, I do think if you get into one of those situations, there's an advantage for this Padre team because as Shildt said, and I like this, all that stuff has been normalized for this team. Playing those kinds of games is just sort of what they've done all year long. But look, here's the thing. If your starting pitching gets knocked around, or if you knock around their starting pitching, then that stuff doesn't matter. But if you do end up in a situation, where any of these games look a lot like so many of the games that were played this year, yeah, you do like the fact that they have a lot of experience in those kinds of games and that they've had a lot of success in those kinds of games.
No question. Talking to our pal Jesse Agler, voice of the Padres here on Ben and Woods this morning, talked to another pal in Chicago, Jesse Rogers, yesterday. And he said, I love the word. He said, man, it's Wrigley Field. This time of day is volatile. It's a volatile ballpark. The shadows are going to be crazy. The wind, all of that. I don't know what the wind conditions are. You're not at the ballpark yet either.
I did get a forecast yesterday from Megan Perry. Should be blowing in, but very gently.
Okay.
5 to 10 miles an hour, but nothing that should cause Nick Pivetta any serious alarm based on the forecast.
Yeah. Yesterday it was not. Sorry, I thought it was
the question never
gonna
kind
be
of
There was no
good.
question
there.
there.
Just kind
We
of,
were just doing statements.
It's Wrigley Field. Your experience is at Wrigley Field.
We'll do a
Jesse.
statement, and then you do a statement after.
Like a press conference.
Yes, exactly.
It's gorgeous. Yesterday when we were at the ballpark, the wind very gentle. But 5 to 10 in that building, swirling, brick wall, ivy, weird corners. Mike Shildt said it yesterday. There's no place that plays weirder than Wrigley Field.
Yeah.
And you're right. There's going to be shadows probably come like 5th inning or so. That is going to be a thing. It's a 2:08 start local time. So yeah, by the 5th or 6th inning, you got to imagine that shadow is going to be around home plate. There's going to be, potential sun issues in terms of balls in the air. The wind will do something at some point today. So look, there's no doubt, this is something to keep in mind and keep an eye on. Now, as nice as the conditions are, hopefully it's a little bit on the minimal side. And it is it's San Diego weather, guys. It's a joke how nice it is here. And that hopefully keeps things as normal as they can be in this place.
And I wonder how much defense Shildt will prioritize in a game one with Nick Pivetta on the mound, a fly ball pitcher, as we all know. There's options. I mean, he does have options. Beach could get a start today and hit 9th or 8th or whatever, and Gavin Sheets could come off the bench. You just never know. Like you said, the lineup speculation is making me insane. When will it be out? It won't be out till we're well off the air, right? More than likely.
So what is it?
Right before the end of the show,
it might come out while you're on the air.
While we're on the
air. It might come out while you're on the air.
The line,
I mean,
the
they're
roster has to be
taking
set in 50 minutes, I believe.
Yeah.
8 a.m. Pacific, 10 o'clock Central, correct?
The roster at the top of the next hour. And then the Padres are taking batting practice at 10:25 San Diego time. I would say that would be the latest the lineup would come out.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know if it might be before that. Everything's a little bit different in the postseason. It's not as predictable. The rhythm of the regular season is very different than the postseason. So I don't have a great answer for you on that. I don't remember from years past around what time the lineup was released. But you're right. I mean, that's one of the big questions too. Is it a Bryce Johnson day for defense and left field? We'll find out eventually, and we'll see how it goes. Fun pitching matchup too, really is.
Yeah,
so
very much.
It's good stuff, man.
One that we've seen already twice this year, which is kind of funny. Pivetta against Boyd, 1-1. They both split 2 games against each other. So Here we go, the decisive game 3 and the game 1 of the series. One more thing for me, Jesse. Manny Machado said yesterday that he doesn't really change much. A playoff game, a regular season game. Baseball is baseball. He's going to approach it like he always does. What about for Jesse Agler? Broadcast wise, is this just a same approach as a regular season game? Do you do anything differently? Can you up your game at all for a postseason matchup?
Yeah, it's a little different. For one, I think that you're giving some different information than you'd be giving in a regular season game. So I mean, I spent much of the last couple of days kind of organizing everybody's, postseason histories and their careers and, things that guys have done in the playoffs or not done in the playoffs, because I think that is a fun kind of talking point. There's also, I think, some more broader, big picture storylines, you like to dive into and kind of really paint the picture of the Cubs season for the Padre audience, because again, we haven't seen them since April, and, kind of contextualize this matchup in a simple but still sort of comprehensive way. And then look, the reality is, the energy is up. You're gonna get a little bit of a turned up version, I think. As long as it's not a blowout situation, at least. And, the fun thing about the playoffs is it's like every pitch matters. Every pitch matters. And you're going to have a crowd here that I guarantee you is going to be on their feet every time there's 2 strikes on a Padre batter. And that's the kind of thing that, on the radio, like you can just stop talking, like let the crowd, release the pitch, so to speak. And it's so fun. I mean, I know I've said this to you guys 1,000 times, but Tony and I, we talk about this a lot. We've never had more fun in our lives than the 2022 playoff run, when they got to the NLCS. And it's just so special. And to be able to be at a place like this, if we're not going to be at home, Wrigley is a pretty great, option B. And hopefully there will be postseason baseball again at Petco Park this year.
Just can't believe that there's a chance it won't come to Petco Park, so I have to believe that it will.
Believe that it will.
And the Padres will win this series and get us back for a home game next week. Jesse, have a great broadcast next 2 days, 3 days, whatever it is, and hopefully we will see you at Petco Park sometime next week, Wednesday, I guess it would be, for Game 3 of the NLDS.
Can't wait. We'll see you then.
Jesse Agler, voice of the Padres, the first of our 3 guests who will join us from Chicago this morning. We'll have Dennis Lin, our Linsider from The Athletic, with us coming up at the bottom of the hour.
I would really like to sync the radio to the television today, because Kevin Brown's really good. He's really, really good. He's the Orioles play-by-play guy. He's really fantastic. Fellow Oasis nerd like me. But we got Jessica Mendoza there, Dodgers employee, calling that game as well. I don't really want to listen to it. They don't put Don Orsillo calling Dodger games. I don't know why I'm subjected to.
They do sometimes.
Nah, I mean on TBS rarely, not in the playoffs.
They might, because the TBS has the NL. I don't know if Don's doing any of the games, but TBS will have NL playoff games going forward.
Got to listen to literal Dodger loving.
I don't know if Don is working the postseason or not. If he is, there's a chance he could do Padres games going forward, which would be really cool. I think what Jesse said, though, about every pitch being so important, and you do have to remember, you fall behind in a game, the odds are you're going to lose.
That's not true.
Now
That's
teams come from behind all the time, but the odds are the team that scores first goes on to win the majority of games. So, yeah, a first inning run is very important in a game like this. It's not
first licks,
it's not
baby.
a death sentence, but the fact that the Padres have an opportunity to go out in the top of the first inning,
score a couple,
in a kind of an electric environment. Matthew Boyd, it does not have a lot of postseason experience. I think he said yesterday, I got like one out. I waited 8 years to get to the postseason. When I got there, I got one out. That's all I got.
Yeah.
So, this is kind of fairly new territory for a veteran pitcher, getting a big start like this in game one of a wild card series. Don't know how he's going to respond. He had a really good year, 12-1
at
good. Wrigley Field this year, but his career numbers are fairly pedestrian. He's been a serviceable lefty throughout his career, who's having a really good season this year for the Chicago Cubs, but it's all different in the playoffs, and just don't know how he's going to react. Don't know how Nick Pivetta is going to react. Two very seemingly really nice guys, but, Pivetta very obviously intense. Boyd seemed like, he was very kind of thoughtful yesterday when I was listening to him. I liked him a lot, actually. I didn't want to like him as much as I did, but I did like him a lot. It's going to be a very interesting matchup today.
Yeah, I can't wait. I wish that we could go home now because I'm starting to turn into a nervous wreck. Slightly. We have any tequila here? Use a shot.
Santo?
Santo would be
Santo
great.
Tequila. Did Sammy Hagar leave us anything? There
Justin,
might be some in the back.
Paulie is okay. Paulie's moving today. It was a scheduled move for months. Just so happened to fall today. So Paulie is okay. Adam's filling in for Paulie, but Paulie will be back tomorrow. He will be at the watch party as well. So Paulie is doing great.
Yeah, just a reminder, we will be out there tomorrow at Park 101 in Carlsbad to watch Game 2 of the series. Park 101, bi-level sports bar, a rooftop deck. You walked by at that time and said, hey, well, this looks like a cool place. We will be there. Huge screens, barbecue, craft cocktails, and again, autographed baseballs to give away from you, Darvish. We've got Jake Cronenworth and Joe Musgrove, I believe, were the three that were told to us. It's all presented by Estrella Jalisco Light Mexican Lager. Tomorrow, Park 101 at 3040 Carlsbad Boulevard in the Carlsbad Village. All right, we'll come back with a little Don't Do This.
We didn't get to this yesterday. We should have. It was really good.
One of the more awkward halftime interviews you've seen in the NFL. That and a really cool, I'm sure you've seen it by now, hype video from the Padres starring one Jake Peavy. We'll have that for you coming up next year after traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
But first, let me tell all of our beloved Tier 1s about all the great work they're doing over at Loan Pronto right now. If you're trapped in that high rate, high interest mortgage, I can certainly help you. I can't, but Loan Pronto, I can steer you in the right direction. The fine people over at Loan Pronto. Look, rates are they can get high at times. You want to make sure you can lock in a lower rate. You absolutely can with Loan Pronto. Lowest mortgage rates in 3 years. Their rate reduction home loan program. Streamlined, low-cost way. Slash those house payments by hundreds of dollars a month. Lock in that fixed rate. Low as 4.99% APR. Close in as little as 2 weeks. Lower payments, more money in your pocket. Fresh start with a better mortgage. 619-207-4336 or go to loanpronto.com. Lock in the new low rate. Skip those next 2 payments. Don't let high rates hold you back. 619-207-4336 or go to loanpronto.com right now. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Don't do this. Brought to you by Trust and Will.
Don't.
Leave your entire estate, house, kids, and life savings up to chance if and when you die.
Do.
Set up Trust or Will online at trustandwill.com. This is a lot more affordable than you think. Visit trustandwill.com for more info.
Is that not distracting to you, Indiana Klug over there in his Padres fedora?
Indiana Klug.
What is happening right now? People were on him because he wasn't wearing any gear today. So he goes, all right, I'll wear some gear. I'm going to wear some gear so hard. He went and got
official merchandise.
Yeah.
I feel like
Where did you get that?
It was on the desk of one of our sales reps.
It's
for those not
Panama hat.
It's a fatigue green Panama hat with a Padres logo on it.
I call it the woman repeller, is what it is. Holy cow. That is something else. All right. Well, at least you have your gear on now. Go ahead, Benjamin.
All right. Let's start. We actually kind of missed it over the weekend, but it was definitely a don't do this moment from the NFL. Did anyone catch the halftime interview on CBS with new Chicago Bears head coach Ben Johnson with his team trailing at halftime? Adam, can you play this for us?
Your offense has struggled to take advantage of those takeaways.
Yeah.
Okay, so what did you tell them to get things going?
That it wasn't our brand of football. We're capable of a lot more, and so we're hitting the reset button here at halftime, and we're going to come back and establish our identity here in the second half.
You need to change what you're doing.
I don't know. You think so? We're going to be just fine.
Oh, God.
Wow.
No. I think you misunderstood, Ben. She asked the question, so you need to change what you're doing. There was an inflection.
Do you need to change what you're doing?
I think it was either so or do. It doesn't really matter. So you need to change what you're doing, or do you need to change what you're doing? And he goes, oh, what? Do you think so? He got all upset.
It was
neither of them with
14-9, but they weren't getting blown out at the half.
Neither of them with great mic work there, by the way.
So Johnson did address the situation yesterday and expressed some regret about how he said, I didn't like how I sounded. It was definitely aggressive, hostile. That was the sideline reporter Aditi Kinkabwala from CBS Sports, who was conducting the interview about, the offense struggling, and then so you need to change things in the second half. And he said, I didn't hear it as a question. I thought she was yelling, you need to change things in the second half. And then I reacted poorly to what I thought was more of an accusation than a question. But after watching it again, he said, I need to be better and not have such a curt response. I did not handle that properly.
Yeah, it was again, I think it was kind of lost in translation a little bit. You know what I mean? They were kind of talking over each other and couldn't really hear, but listen, it happens to everybody. This was a pretty crazy story we saw over the weekend. The Pittsburgh Steelers took on, who did they play? The Vikings out in Dublin,
Ireland, yes.
Dublin, Ireland. And pretty wild incident with backup quarterback Skylar Thompson was robbed and mugged in Dublin, the night before the game. Now, what I didn't know was that he was out kind of walking the streets at 3 a.m. in Dublin, which, by the way, go to a new, different country, city. My guess is he wasn't just out for a midnight stroll, right? Just probably been out for a while and was kind of walking around the streets of Dublin, and he happened upon some people that saw an easy mark and took advantage of him. He's okay.
My guess is he did not follow the rules that the NFL had laid out for players. Like, hey, enjoy the city, but be smart about it.
Yeah, of course.
And anyone will tell you, traveling is a very safe thing. If you have safe behavior. If all of a sudden you're in a city you don't know, walking around at 3 a.m., perhaps in a neighborhood you're not familiar with.
Correct.
That's not smart behavior. And I'm not trying to victim blame him.
No.
He doesn't mean he should have gotten mugged or robbed, but clearly it's not the best idea in a city you're not familiar with to go walking around at 3 a.m. at night.
Well, there's a reason that the coaches put those, lights out rules in place. I know that 3 a.m. is probably later than the head coach had told him he was allowed to be out. But yeah, he's okay. Luckily, he was treated at the scene and released, but I think he was jumped by several wild Irishmen in the middle of the night before his big game. Now again,
Conor McGregor, possibly.
Aaron Rodgers goes down. You're in there, buddy. So he's He was on IR, but he was just out hanging out. But he's fine. He's going to be okay. But just be careful. Keep your wits about you.
Finally, a little do this, Adam, if you would please. DD
just
mega
whenever you're
doo-doo.
ready to hit
DD mega
doo
doo-doo.
You may have heard it already. Padres posted it last night, but listen to this.
Oh yeah.
Epic hype video for the postseason as narrated by one Padres Hall of Famer, Jake Peavy.
You guys are some tough dogs. You guys are some bad dudes. You fight like you did tonight, no one will beat us.
The road to the postseason is never easy. But these Padres aren't the type to back down from a fight. And we've seen that time.
Here comes a walk-off win!
And time. And time again.
The party is on in San Diego!
Nobody moves the needle better than the Padres.
The accelerators to the floor.
Man, oh man, oh man!
You've got Machado. You've got Tatis.
He's almost asking you, please run him in.
Fernando did it again!
You hang it, they bang it.
He's been swinging a hot bat.
Merrill Madness brings it back in the yard!
The journey starts now, San Diego. It's time to fight for the faithful.
Chill someone right now.
That was good. That was really, really good. Jake's got a future in this business. That was some A-plus narration. So For the Faithful is now Fight for the Faithful.
Fight for the faithful
in the postseason.
Yeah, I got goosebumps from that for sure. What do you say after that? Just get it done.
That was Don't and Do This for a Tuesday.
Yep.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
So we've got Dennis Lin's going to join us from The Athletic. Woods also, Adam, you didn't know this, but while you were gone getting your new hat, he was rifling over by your lunchbox and wants to know what you brought in your lunchbox to work today.
I saw your lunchbox. What is that? I didn't rifle through.
Well, if that doesn't sound like a tease for later, we go through Adam's lunchbox.
We're going to go through Adam's lunchbox a little bit later as well. It's all coming up.
Brings his lunchbox to work
with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. First, though, if you're watching playoff baseball today, you can do it with Prize Picks and set your own daily fantasy lineups. Just like the manager is setting a lineup, you can set your own lineups. All 4 games today, there'll be players on every team, including your favorites like Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., Luis Arraez, and you're just picking against the number stat projections. So Luis Arraez, more or less than, say, 1 hit. You can pick that, add it to a lineup, and win real money. I mean, you're watching this team. You know it pretty well. It's good to be right because you win actual money with Prize Picks by setting your lineup. To get you started, just make sure you download the app at prizepicks.com and use the code KWFN to get $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. That's code KWFN to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. And Prize Picks, the only app that offers stacks, which means you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. So how about innings pitched for Nick Pivetta, strikeouts for Nick Pivetta? You can stack them together. Only app that allows you to do that is Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for details.
and this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open.
Has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. And right now at Staples, save up to $125 off your print order. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details. Ends 11/1. Plus, save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples. All right, we'll hold off on going through Adam's lunchbox for a few minutes because we got Dennis Lin from The Athletic standing by in Chicago. He will join us right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is brought to you by AleSmith Brewing Company. $6, $3.94 pints, big screens, cold beer, and playoff baseball. Crash on the coastline, southbound 5, Encinitas Boulevard. It's in the center divide. Also, car fire clearing northbound 15 before the 78. That's over to the right shoulder. Southbound 15 right before the 52. Accident involving a couple vehicles. That's blocking the right lane. Traveling on southbound 5 before Garnett, we have reports of some traffic cones that must have broke away from the pack. Those are bouncing around in middle lanes. Also northbound 67 at Highland Valley. There is a collision. Looks like that is mostly over to the right shoulder. October baseball is here. Catch every pitch at AleSmith Brewing Company. Enjoy $6 pints of our legendary $3.94 pale ale. Cheer on the brown and gold with big screens, cold beer, and the best fans in town. Located off Miramar Road. AleSmith Brewing. There's no better place to watch the playoffs. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Happy Monday, Padres fans. It's time to discuss the weekend that was for the Padres with our Ben and Woods Linsider, Dennis Lin from The Athletic. Brought to you by the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the player's place.
Yesterday was a travel day for Dennis Lin, but he joins us now from Chicago, Illinois, where the Padres will take on the Cubs in Game 1 of the National League Wildcard Series, 12:08 Pacific, 2:08 Central. Good morning, Dennis.
Morning, guys. It's a beautiful day in Chicago. Looking forward to discussing some playoff baseball.
Now, are you at the yard yet? Probably won't let you in this early.
No, I think they actually are letting people in this early, but I am not there yet. Soon, though.
Good. Well, we're excited to obviously for the game to start and all that. But your piece yesterday was great. We touched on it a little bit yesterday. And when you do a deep dive into AJ Preller, who's been here a decade, right? And yet you still feel like you learn new things about our general manager after 10 years at the helm for the San Diego Padres. Dennis, what was something in your piece that you learned that you didn't know already?
Number one, this wasn't in there because I think at least one of these guys was in San Diego. I don't want to give his identity away. He recently played with a couple NBA small forwards. So on the basketball court, that is, not baseball, obviously. He's very serious about, I mean, we've all known this, I think, right in San Diego, that AJ Preller outside of baseball only hoops, and that's pretty much it. Doesn't really sleep much. But the hooping is even more serious than I thought going into this reporting process. So yeah, that's kind of his only release valve, and seems like he's had a lot of injuries the last few years as he's gotten older. So I know there's been at least one torn meniscus that he's played through. But yeah, this is a guy who just if you watch him on the play on the basketball court, you understand why he kind of operates the way he does in the baseball field, and it's kind of a really interesting offseason for him, right? He's got the final year of his contract coming up, but he's the guy who shot his shot at the trade deadline and might be the person most responsible for the fact that the Padres are still here, because without all those trades, especially Mason Miller, at the deadline, now replacing Jason Adam, and I don't think there's any replacing Mason Miller. He might be the best reliever in baseball right now. I think it explains why the Padres are where they are right now.
I actually knew most of the basketball stuff, Dennis, because my brother is one of his pickup cronies who gets the texts at like 2 a.m., like, show up at 6 at the Y, we got a game. So I knew about some of those stories. What I didn't know about, though, and I think this was incredible journalism, AJ's eating habits. Now, I know you can't give up your sources, but how did you get all the information about the barbecue sauce and the ketchup?
Manny and Jake were very forthcoming
tenders.
with the barbecue and ketchup stuff. So they had no problem calling him a weirdo for him eating like my 7-year-old.
Yeah, the fact that his own players are so willing and I guess comfortable in roasting him on the record tells you he does have a different kind of relationship than most GMs do with their players. But the eating habits have actually been like widely known, I think, at least in San Diego circles, Padres circles, for probably close to a decade. I mean, I've heard stories about AJ putting ketchup on filet mignon sitting next to Sandy Koufax at a dinner. I wonder what Sandy thought of that. But yeah, that's. I mean, the guy's awake all the time, so he probably spends more hours eating than the average human. And there are just people throughout the years who have witnessed AJ's eating habits, and they are very different, as you can tell.
Talking to Dennis Lin from The Athletic, I remember vividly a conversation that this show had maybe 5 years ago, I would say is probably accurate, where we would sit in here and go, man, the major league roster is really suffering, and this guy is on some backfield, in Jupiter, Florida, looking at some player. Like, we need a general manager that's focused on the big league roster. He's found a way, I think, Dennis, to do both now, because the major league roster the last few seasons has really been good. I mean, it's a good major league roster. Is it perfect? No, but no roster is. I think he's kind of learned now that he can do both. Is that a fair assessment? Because that was a knock on him, 5 years ago, at least from this show. And I heard it from other people too. Like, this guy needs to be focused on winning baseball for the Padres. And I don't think you could question his focus on the big league roster these days.
Yeah, I think he's focused on everything, which might have been the challenge for a lot of years. I mean, when you're first starting out as a GM and you're trying to build something from the ground up, there's going to be a lot of things pulling your attention. And again, because he sleeps maybe 3 hours a night, he's got a lot of time to do these things, but he does try to be, it seems like, everywhere all at once. And that can be a tough thing when the major league roster is not playing well, and maybe you're in Japan scouting some 16-year-old. But I think, yeah, the last couple of years, it's just probably been slightly easier. I mean, we all know how things with him and Bob Melvin ended. Just there wasn't a lot of cohesion there. And yeah, he's found another veteran manager who seems to do a good job of handling the major league coaching staff and the roster. So maybe there's a little bit more delegation there. But I still think, I mean, AJ was in Japan not too recently, if you read in the story, practicing with a basketball team over there, just because he's been invited to watch NBA and college team practices. And I know, like, there's been at least one time where he's like, no, I don't want to watch you guys practice, I want to play with you guys. So he's still doing his thing out there. But I think, yeah, he's learned over the years there maybe needs to be just slightly more balance. That includes his own employees' lives, and the fact that they have weddings and holidays to celebrate and anniversaries. And I think he's gotten slightly better at that, but he's still going to be who he is, which is probably the most tireless and some people would say insane worker among GMs in baseball.
I was just going to ask you, because holding it so tightly at the top, right? You're holding everything so tightly. You're texting your people at all hours of the night. It after getting a little bit of wisdom, has he been able to let go a little bit? I have never questioned that man's desire to bring a World Series championship here. Never once. Never once. I know that's the ultimate goal. Has he been able to let go a little bit and maybe let Shildt pull more strings and learning from the mistakes of the past with Tingler and Bob Melvin? Do you get that sense that he is a little bit more hands off now than he used to be?
Yeah, with managers, certainly. Part of that's just, the personality of each manager, and Shildt holds things, I guess you could say, pretty tightly too. So maybe AJ's backed off in a few certain areas, but he's always, given his managers leeway to manage games as they mostly see fit. I think even with Bob Melvin too, yeah. I mean, these two guys, the last two guys he's had are veteran managers who know what they're doing. And the last few before that, maybe not so much. So there was more, I think, I don't know if you want to call it hand-holding or micromanagement or whatever term you want to put on it. But I think, he has backed off a little bit. And I know this time of year, even post-trade deadline, like August, September, those months can drive AJ crazy because there's not as much to do. So that's why he might be in Japan for a couple weeks, trying to look for the next Shohei Ohtani, who, he once spoke about 7 minutes of Japanese too. And from what I've heard, Ohtani came up to him afterward and asked him a follow-up question, and AJ had nothing for him. He just kind of shrugged because he had just memorized those 7 minutes of Japanese. And, that's all he had. But that's pretty amazing that someone could do that.
Dennis, we'll know the answer here in less than 15 minutes when I believe the rosters have to be decided on and announced. But how difficult do you think this final couple of decisions are for the Padres, specifically with Elias Diaz and potentially a third catcher, whether it's Luis Campusano or Martin Maldonado, and who's not going to make the roster, in your opinion, if that is the case?
Yeah, potentially really difficult, right? Because if you're going to carry potentially three catchers and Diaz, you'd still want him ready for the series, but maybe he's not ready to go. Freddie Fermin, I think, could easily be catching all three games of this series, and that'll be interesting, especially with Nick Pivetta, who's thrown to Diaz all season. But that could mean, if that's the case, three catchers carrying one fewer infielder, maybe one fewer outfielder, maybe one fewer pitcher. So there's a lot of avenues that could go, but I think that the catching situation is just maybe the most crucial right now, and that could lead to some ripple effects throughout the series. But I think that's just the wrench that they got thrown late, and they just have to adjust to that. But I think overall they feel pretty good about how the roster finished September, despite obviously the unfortunate injury to Ramon Laureano. But I think the catching thing is what I'm most interested to see, and just like you said a few minutes here.
But Dennis, if Diaz isn't ready to catch Nick Pivetta today, why is he on the roster? Just the backup catcher to Freddie Fermin instead of Luis Campusano or Martin Maldonado? Like, that's why he's here, I would imagine, would be to catch Nick Pivetta. I don't know how his workouts went yesterday, if he was able to swing it, throw down, all those things that are fairly important for a guy taking up a roster spot.
Exactly. Yeah. To your point. If something happens to Freddie and, you're relying on Luis Campusano or even Martin Maldonado, who, has not been in a major league game in a couple months. That's not a good situation. So it's just insurance, right? As anything happens to your starting catcher, especially in the playoffs, that's not a good thing. But it's even a worse thing if you don't really have any viable options to back him up. But yeah, I think, Freddie could very well try to pull off what Austin Nola did in 2022 when he caught every single inning of the Padres postseason. But yeah, I think if Diaz isn't ready to today, but tomorrow, I think they would still prefer to have him on the roster for sure.
Fair enough.
Dennis, appreciate it. Hopefully we'll get more visits with you and the season continues into the postseason. But if not, we appreciate everything you've done all year long, and good luck this week.
Thanks, guys. Right back at you.
Thanks, brother.
Dennis Lin from The Athletic, our Lin Signer, usually every Monday, but we got him on Tuesday here for the playoff day. He was traveling yesterday. I think it would be fascinating if Luis Campusano somehow comes up in a big at-bat. Yeah, I mean, first he's got to make the roster, and we'll know in 10 minutes or so. But to me, it makes more sense to have Luis Campusano on the roster than Martin Maldonado.
Me too.
I think so.
Did he when he was in AAA and he was hitting all those bombs? Was he everyday catcher? Or was he playing first or DH?
He was catching a lot. He was doing some DHing, but I think he was doing some catching. You don't want him to catch, clearly. You want Freddie Fermin can catch all 3 days.
No doubt.
And then, hopefully by then Diaz is ready to come back for a division series. So I'm not too worried about the catching situation. But if you needed a backup in an emergency, obviously Luis Campusano can catch a few innings in an emergency. Whatever. If, Freddie Fermin twists an ankle or something, you can go and put Luis Campusano in. The question is, should he be there already? Because you need a right-handed bat. And he was a masher in AAA.
Should he DH?
Throw out the numbers in the regular season for the postseason. Throw out his 0 for 21.
You throw out everybody's. Everybody's numbers get thrown out.
I'm not expecting him to be a star, but he's a right-handed batter
pinch hit
against a team that has a lot of lefties, And, that might be something you need.
I mean,
it's so
baseball. It's so baseball. Are you kidding? Like, it's the storylines, we don't know what they are yet, but that is one that you would absolutely believe, and it would be fantastic. But, again, if Elias Diaz is unavailable to catch Nick Pivetta today, if he's unavailable today, tomorrow he's miraculously going to be better. I don't know. Like, why would you, if you have Campy, just do it. Just do it.
We'll find out. I believe in 7 minutes, the Padres need to turn in their rosters to the National League, to Major League Baseball for the series. And you can change them, but if you drop someone off, then they're not eligible to return for the postseason, I believe.
At all.
Yeah, so you can change it, but once you take someone off in the middle of a series,
in the middle, yeah,
they can't come back at that point. So
WJ says you cannot ignore an 0 for 0 for. You can. It doesn't matter now. He's 0 for 0, just like Fernando Tatis Jr. is 0 for 0. 0 for 0. Everybody. The San Diego Padres were 28th in home runs hit. You know what they are today? Tied for first. They're tied for first place. Or tied for last place, however you want to look at it.
You don't need to be the leader in home runs for 162.
No, you need to do it for
Can they do
13 games?
For 3 games right now,
right.
2.
That's it.
If you out-homer the Cubs in the next 2 days, there's a good chance you're sweeping this series.
Correct.
And you can do it for 2 days. You may not be able to do it for 162, but you can definitely do it for 2.
Yeah, man, 0 and 0. Everybody's 0 for 0.
Can get a hit today if he's on the roster.
Yep.
I don't know if he'll be there, but we'll find out momentarily. We'll come back. More from Chicago. Postseason Sammy Levitt's going to join us. We'll also play Take on Woods, all coming up here on 97.3 The Fan. Don't go away.
Playoff Tuesday here in America's finest city. Very excited. Very excited. A couple hours left to go of the program. And, we're just going to get through it as best we can. And then we'll have all the coverage and information for you tomorrow, hopefully talking about a Padres victory over Matthew Boyd and the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field today. I'm Woodsy, Adam Klug filling in for Paul today. Paulie is moving. His movers should be arriving right now. Hopefully they're on time and ready to roll. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well.
You just surprised me a little bit.
I just surprised myself a little bit, to be honest. Got a text from a buddy. We have Sammy on hold?
Yeah, we have Sammy. But tell the story quickly.
Well, quickly,
yeah.
I got a text from a friend of mine, Billy, who's a huge Phillies fan, but he's got 3 boys. His boys are incredible. I've coached one of them, Jay, for a couple years, plays baseball with Bo, football with Bo. Billy writes to me this morning, I didn't see my first playoff game till I was 11 in 1993, and then not again until 2007. More teams now, but still, I'm springing my boys from school for the game. And I go, I'm going to do the same. You inspired me. And he said, that was my goal. So I called my wife just now at the break and said, what do you think? Should I spring the boys for this playoff game? She goes, yes. Did not even hesitate. You guys heard it was on speaker. She goes, yeah, do it. Spring them. I'm like, all right, done. So I'm going to go get them. Hopefully I won't regret it. Hopefully they understand it's playoff baseball. Dad's going to be locked in. Hopefully they get locked in a little bit. But, yeah, why not, man? Special day.
I don't remember. I did not get sprung from school when the Padres played the Cubs in 1984. They were definitely during school. They were day games. Cubs didn't even have lights, so they had to be during the day. I don't know if they were on TV, though, back then. They might have just been radio-only games at that point. So, hey, you know what? I think they will remember that. It'll be a nice memory for your boys.
Let's be honest. They're just excited to get out of school.
True.
I mean, come on. If they watch 15 minutes of the game, I'm going to be surprised, but I'm going to do it anyway.
All right, let's go out to Wrigley Field, that same Wrigley Field where the Padres took on the Cubs in 1984, where we are joined right now by Postseason Sammy. Sam Levitt joins us live from Chicago, presented by David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys facing criminal charges. Trust David P. Shapiro and his team, helping clients regain control since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. David, sorry I butchered your name twice.
A few times, yeah,
I know
no big
David
deal.
pretty well.
David.
I'll get that right tomorrow when Sammy joins us again.
He's very nervous.
Sammy, good morning.
First time on the radio?
First timer.
Well,
we got a first timer over
A
here.
little nervous. How's Wrigley?
Well, greetings from the friendly confines of Wrigley Field. I think something that stood out to all of us. I mean, if you were expecting this series to be, early fall weather, late September, October weather for this series, you're not getting it. It could not be more beautiful the last couple of days here at Wrigley. It feels like summer, quite frankly. I'm in a polo and didn't even bring a jacket. That's how nice it is on the north side of Chicago this morning. So it's going to be really nice weather. I will tell you, I was down on the field yesterday during the workout, and even during that on the field, you can feel the winds whipping around at different times. So you can only imagine what it does to fly balls. But everything is good here at Wrigley, and we are getting ready to go for game one.
Oh, so excited, Sammy. I tweeted it also. I said every fan base should know what this feels like, right? Like you think about the teams that didn't make it in, and you're like, God, this is such a phenomenal feeling. And other fan bases should absolutely know what this feels like. And Padres fans, I don't ever want to take it for granted. I think it's just a really special thing. Nothing like playoff baseball, Sammy. And playoff baseball at Wrigley Field, it's my second favorite city in the entire country. It's going to be amazing. Win or lose, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
But I'm so happy that you get to be there back in your old stomping grounds. And what's the scene like out there right now?
Well, the Cubs are doing some early work right now, and some guys are out there. I don't see any Padres out there yet, but some guys are doing some early work from the Cubs. I'm sure they'll take batting practice, and then the Padres will take batting practice. We are scheduled to hear from Fernando Tatis Jr., Mike Shildt, Dylan Cease later on today in the press conference room. It'll be interesting to hear those guys talk. Dylan Cease, obviously, maybe a little bit of a surprise to some of us that he is the game 2 starter after all the chatting we've done about it over the last couple of weeks. I will tell you, yesterday at the workout, the Padres went through a really extensive workout, and they had the opportunity to work out a little bit earlier in the day, right around when today's game was going to be, right around 2 p.m. And I do think there was a purpose to that. Now, I don't know the exact details of it all as far as, was there an option to work out after the Cubs did, because the Padres worked out earlier, which from my experience in the postseason is a little bit different than usual. Normally, the home team will work out first and then the visiting team will come after. This was different yesterday where the Padres worked out first, and I don't know if that was something they went out of their way to decide per se, but they definitely felt like it was good experience to get out there in the middle of the day with a bright blue sky, deal with sunballs, deal with the wind, and they went through a very full workout. So they should be as prepared as they can be for the elements here at Wrigley.
Sammy, Chicago, also a really good food city. What did you enjoy last night? Deep dish, hot dog, a steak, anything special?
We a handful of us went to Lou Malnati's last night, so we had some deep dish pizza, which was good. I had a sausage slice and a pepperoni slice. That was good.
You got two down?
Yeah, I got 2 slices
of Lou Malnati's.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I was hungry. I didn't eat. I didn't have time to eat much yesterday. Honestly, I had some grapes in the morning. I didn't have much until then.
Just grapes.
So I did get down 2 slices. That was good. That's about it so far. I got a quick coffee the last couple of mornings, but that's about it. We'll see where look, that is the nice thing about the day games from just, I think, everybody who's working perspective, is you do get the free nights in Chicago. I know it's not everybody's favorite from a fan standpoint, and having it in the middle of the day on a Tuesday and Wednesday isn't the best for a fan. I totally get that. But from my perspective here in Chicago, it is not the worst thing in the world, I'll admit.
Do we have a roster yet?
No. Well, I don't think so. Mike Shildt said yesterday that they were due by 10 a.m. I don't know if he was talking about Central Time. Admittedly, I don't know the exact time off the top of my head that they have to be in by, but I would imagine it's going to be pretty soon. On that front, I'll tell you what I can provide about, some of the things that went on here yesterday. Elias Diaz did get a workout in on the field. He was in catcher's gear. It was quick, and then he went inside the clubhouse. I personally did not see Elias hit on the field yesterday. That doesn't mean he didn't, but I didn't see it. Luis Campusano is here and took batting practice yesterday. I've not seen Martin Maldonado.
Did he
was
get a
not
hit
here yesterday.
Did he get a hit in BP yesterday?
Yes, he
did.
did.
Okay. All right.
He took a fine BP round from what I saw.
Good.
I can tell you Elias was on the field yesterday, and I'll tell you Campy is here. I have not seen Martin Maldonado. Obviously, it's been reported that he's going to be at least around. I don't know what the Padres plan to do. It does sound like there's a possibility, to your point on the roster, that they could carry 3 catchers. I mean, that was, talked about a little bit yesterday. So we'll see how it shakes out. But obviously, that's the major question right now, especially today with Nick Pivetta. He's basically only thrown to Diaz all year. So that is something to consider and something that's got to get figured out in the next couple of hours.
Sam, obviously, a lot's been made of the Padres injuries. Ramon Laureano, Jason Adam, trying to get Michael King back and in shape. But the Cubs aren't exactly completely healthy going into this series as well. What do we know? We know Cade Horton's out for this series, possibly their best starting pitcher. What do we know about Kyle Tucker and how he's doing in his return? That seems like a big factor in this series.
For sure.
That we don't really know exactly where he stands.
Yeah, look, I think the Kyle Tucker part of this series is really, really fascinating. He was down with a calf injury for a while. He did come back over the last weekend of the regular season. What is his health going to look like? Is he going to DH? Is he going to play the outfield? And obviously, somebody who's won a World Series and obviously knows what the postseason is about. The other thing with Tucker, keep in mind, he stole 25 bases this year. So if he's not fully healthy and can run, that's a big-time base stealer that maybe you take out of the equation. So he did play over the course of the weekend. Sounds like he's going to be in their lineup. I don't know if that's going to be DH or in the outfield, but it is something to monitor because that was a pretty significant calf injury, and he only came back at the very end of the regular season. And to that point, and I'm going to get to this during my keys to the game coming up a little bit later during the pregame, managing the running game, just as we're on that with Tucker, I think is a big part of this series and this game today. The Cubs like to run. They stole the 3rd most bases in the majors this season. PCA runs a lot. Nico Horner runs a lot. Swanson, Shaw, they will all run. And Tucker is in that category as well. So while we're on Kyle Tucker, that's something to keep in mind.
You know, I had that thought when Yu Darvish was named the Game 3 starter, because he is not someone who is good at controlling the running game. But I will note that in the last game, Freddie Fermin threw out a runner with Yu Darvish like he was maybe concentrating on a little bit more with an eye at potentially the Chicago Cubs going forward, that he was going to have to be a little bit better at it. But it's not something that Padres have done particularly well, especially you.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's a little bit of a concern with him and with everybody, right? I just don't think you want a situation where these guys are running wild, because that's a game changer if they're getting on base and running all over the place. So we'll see. I'm with you. I think it's a little bit of a concern with you. But I put that on everybody. These pitchers have to be very cognizant in this series that this is a team that will run.
Yeah, I mean, we run too. We kind of pick our spots.
Sure.
It will be interesting to see. Guys like Jackson Merrill have the ability to steal bags. Just really didn't.
Yeah, how many did he steal?
Like
this year?
4 or something. 3 or something. Yeah, I mean, he stopped running kind of after the concussion and all that. But again, man, it's playoffs, Sammy. Like, you can't leave anything to chance. You can't leave anything, on the bench. You have to kind of use everything. It will be really fascinating to see what the lineup looks like, what the how the bullpen is deployed today by Mike Shildt.
Yeah, a couple of thoughts on the pitching side, or at least one thought on the pitching side, and that is, man, there falls a lot of, I don't want to say pressure, but a lot of responsibility today on the shoulders of Nick Pivetta.
Yeah.
I really believe that. This guy has been their ace all year. He's been terrific all year. Now, his only start at Wrigley was one of his roughest starts of the year. He has not had many days like that at all since then, and that was early April. He is a guy that will give up some home runs and some fly balls, which, the wind's blowing the right way. That concerns you a little bit. But regardless of all that, I think when you look at this series and some of the uncertainty about Cease tomorrow and about Darvish, he's been up and down since he came back from the injury. It does feel to me like a lot falls on Nick Pivetta here in game 1. Like you could just use a big time start, grab a lead, big time start from Nick, hand it to your bullpen. To me, that is the recipe in game 1 for the Padres, because if you don't win game 1, then I do think you go into games 2 and 3 of this series with, pretty nervous there about what Cease and Darvish can be with their backs up against the wall. So I think a lot falls on Nick Pivetta today, and he has given you no reason to believe that he will not deliver today, but it is a big-time start for Nick, no doubt about it.
Well, stay tuned to 97.3 The Fan. Sam Levitt's going to have many live appearances throughout the week, as long as the Padres are still alive in Chicago.
Hey, Adam told me to show you guys the ballpark, so I'm following my boss's orders.
Spin it around. Here we go.
Oh, there you go. That's a nice view for the YouTube audience.
YouTube stream.
Yeah, I'm kind of high up here towards the back, but you got a pretty good view there. So.
Yeah, but it's a pretty small ballpark, so you can't get. It's not like Washington.
Yeah,
you get 11 stories high.
Oh. Yeah, I'll tell you what. I obviously I lived in Chicago and I have a lot of history in Chicago, but I was never here in the summers, so I've only been here a couple of times, and it's been a while. You forget just how small this place is.
Yeah,
it is. I mean, the plot of land that Wrigley Field sits on, it's incredible that they fit a ballpark in here.
Yeah, it's like Gallagher Square. Exactly.
It really is. You forget how kind of like incredible just the infrastructure of this is in the middle of Chicago. So it's a look, man. Home would have been great, obviously, but if the Padres had to go on the road, I do feel like this is kind of next best thing. At least you get to experience something cool here.
All right, Sammy, really appreciate it. Appreciate David P. Shapiro for making all your visits possible, and we will talk to you again tomorrow.
All right, guys. See ya.
Sam Levitt, Postseason Sammy, with our live coverage from Wrigley Field in Chicago. I remember that start from Nick Pivetta, by the way. It was his second start in a Padres uniform. He walked a bunch of guys. He was in trouble, and they only let him go like 3 innings. But he talked about it yesterday and said, I probably wasn't as aggressive as I should have been in terms of throwing strikes, and I understand why. He wasn't really Nick Pivetta yet. He was coming over a guy who had He had a career, 4.5 to 5 ERA in Boston. He became a different pitcher this year. He trusted his stuff. Like, I can go after hitters. I've got enough stuff, whether it's, something Ruben said or just the work that he's put in. He didn't know that at the time, though. He was still kind of better nibble at the edges and was walking a couple of guys. And then when he faced the Cubs a couple of weeks later, he was much more Nick Pivetta. Went, I think, 6 innings, 1 run, was attacking. And that's really what we saw from Nick Pivetta all season long.
Velo against the Chicago Cubs plays, which is probably why you're seeing Dylan Cease throw tomorrow. Velo plays against this Cubs team. And if you can, look, I was just reading a thing that Kyle Bodie did. Kyle Bodie, founder of Driveline, works for the Boston Red Sox. You know that they have now found, Ben, guys with plus velo, you know where their best place to throw the ball is? Down the middle. Just throw it down the middle. Throw the ball down the middle of the plate. If you have elite velocity like Nick Pivetta does, like Dylan Cease, you are better served, better results throwing the ball down the middle. Who would have ever thought baseball would have gotten to that point? Sure, little league, high school, college even. Now, throw the ball down the middle in the big leagues. Throw it down the middle.
Best pitch in baseball, Mud says it all the time.
Strike one.
Strike one. Get ahead. Don't fall behind. Don't get into hitters' counts, and then they can pick and choose what they want to swing at. That's a huge advantage. Now, if you get ambushed once or twice, give up a solo home run, not the end of the world. Not the end of the world.
Yep.
We'll see. I do think Mason Miller, I picked him last roundtable as my kind of key to the series, and part of that is that velo. He was named the National League Reliever of the Month this morning for what he's done. Just insane. Do you think if you're Mike Shildt, do you plan on using Mason Miller like 1 inning all 3 days, or like multiple innings maybe today and on Thursday?
4 innings every day.
Yeah, if you could.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you've got to be ready to use him every day.
Yes.
If you can.
Unquestionably. He's ready as well.
I think so, too.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, we'll take a timeout. When we come back.
Roster's out.
Roster is
out.
We'll also play a little Take on Woods if you want to be our contestant.
Let's bang Take on Woods. Push it.
I want to bang Take on Woods.
Yeah, we got roster.
All right, we'll get the roster out. We'll give you the Padres roster when we come back. And let you know what is coming up and who made it, who didn't make it next year on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Quickly, before we get to the roster, I wanted to tell you what's number 1 on our roster. That's Eco Water. We got the Eco Water system in our home. It's absolutely been the ace of our staff. Look at me. I feel like you right now. The ace of our staff, Eco Water. They've got the most advanced technology in water treatment for your family and or business. Not just the first in the industry, the most advanced today. Technology that lets you check your system from your phone, alerts you if there's a problem, keeps your water safe 24/7. Not only is your water safe, it is spectacular. Spectacular. Adam drinks it here. We've all got big jugs filled with Eco Water. Save that. Listen, here's the other part people don't think about. Hard water isn't just rough on your skin. It is destroying your plumbing, your appliances, your water heater. If you ignore it, imagine doing a whole home repipe, just $24,000, guys. Piece of cake. That's why we went with Eco Water SoCal, the best water that you can drink. Try the Soft Life and alkaline water, now just $9.95 a month. 760-350-3338 or visit ecowatersocal.com. Tell them Woodsy sent you. Fill your big jugs with Eco Water. Not everything in life should be hard, especially your water, keeping it soft since 1925.
and this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open.
Tinfoil hat, everybody. Padres released the roster and then have since deleted the tweet.
I did just get an email, though, from the Padres PR staff with the roster again.
Okay.
I don't know if it's the same one that you saw that got deleted, but we're going to push Take on Woods. Might get to it in our final hour. We've also got some live news conferences from Wrigley Field with Mike Shildt and Dylan Cease and Fernando Tatis Jr. coming up in the next hour, so stay tuned for that. But here's what you've got for your roster. Right-handed pitchers, 10. Left-handed pitchers, 2. So they're going with 12 pitchers and 14 position players on the postseason roster for the wild card series. The righties, Dylan Cease, Yu Darvish, Jeremiah Estrada, Michael King, Mason Miller, David Morgan, Nick Pivetta, Bradley Rodriguez, Robert Suarez, and Randy Vasquez. So both starters who aren't in the rotation, Michael King and Randy Vasquez on the roster. No Yuki Matsui. So only 2 lefties, Adrian Morejon and Wandy Peralta in the Padres bullpen. No Kyle Hart. We knew that when he got sent down over the weekend. Catchers, very interesting. 3 of them. Freddie Fermin, Martin Maldonado, and Luis Campusano. No Elias Diaz. So apparently he was not responding well enough after tweaking the oblique muscle over the weekend. He will be left off the wild card roster, which means Freddie Fermin will catch Nick Pivetta for the first time this season today in game 1 of the wild card series. Big crash course probably going on between those two in the last couple of days, trying to get on the same page. And very interesting, Martin Maldonado, who has not been with the team since he was DFA'd back in July, was then signed to a minor league deal, but did not do any catching in the minor leagues. He was working out, but has not caught a game since July, makes the playoff roster. And Luis Campusano, who didn't catch a major league game all year long, also makes the major league roster, despite also going 0 for 21 in the regular season. So two surprises right there, Padres catching-wise. Infield, Luis Arraez, Xander Bogaerts, Jake Cronenworth, Manny Machado, Jose Iglesias, and then both Mason McCoy and Ryan O'Hearn. And then outfield, Bryce Johnson, Jackson Merrill, Gavin Sheets, and Fernando Tatis Jr.
Okay, here we go. Now, again,
So no Will Wagner.
No, Will Wagner's on there.
He is not on this one.
He was
that's
on
why
the first
That's
one.
why they deleted it. He is no longer on there.
He's like, oh, so close.
Not sure who they added or if they just had too many names on there, but no Will Wagner according to this.
it's, I'm seeing people in the chat going, why are we carrying 3 catchers? What a waste. For who? Who would you want? Who are we leaving down that should have been up other than maybe a left-handed pitcher? And who? Kyle Hart?
So my thinking is Freddie Fermin is going to be asked to catch all 27 innings.
Correct. And I don't think they're looking at Luis Campusano as a catcher. I think they're looking at him as a right-handed pinch hitter. That's what he is. Now, again, would have been nice to see some ABs down in the last couple of weeks of the season.
I
but
don't think they want Martin Maldonado taking any at-bats.
Correct.
So if Freddie Fermin went out of the game for some reason, Martin Maldonado could catch until he came up, and then you might see Luis Campusano hit for him and then go in for like an inning tops or whatever at the end of a game if they had to do it that way.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to want Campusano behind the plate, but he's there in an emergency if they need him. Martin's your backup defensive catcher.
Other than that, it's going to be Jay Cronenworth as your backup catcher. So I think, I think that's based on the depth that we don't have. There's nobody that's on this. There's nobody left off the roster that I'm lamenting. Not even a little. I'm not lamenting Kyle Hart or Yuki Matsui being off the roster. I'm just not. I know that they're left-handed. I was looking at what the Cubs do to left-handed pitchers. Well, go figure. Their righties mash left-handers. Their left-handers don't really. But like, there's lanes for Morejon with PCA, Mike or Kyle Tucker. They're a right-handed heavy team. They really are. So we're set up, I think, fairly nicely. Is Ian Happ a switch hitter? Or is he just right-handed?
I think he's just right-handed.
Okay, yeah, they're pretty righty heavy. We're pretty lefty heavy. So it's going to be
he's a switch hitter. He's a switch hitter, so you can go either way.
So again, like I don't know how many. I don't miss anybody. Who am I missing?
You're not missing anybody,
right? Yeah, I'm not missing anyone.
I mean, you don't use your whole roster in this series
you really
anyway.
don't.
It's a short series. If it was a 7-game series, then you're kind of thinking, all right, can Freddie Fermin catch every game of a 7-game series?
Yeah.
But in this series, now if Elias Diaz can't come back at all,
then you've
up
got, the creek a little bit.
You got some issues. Hopefully Elias Diaz a few more days will be fine to come back for a division series, and then you have a different calculus.
You got to get there,
but you got to get there first, and this makes some sense to me how they are setting it up. I do think it'll be fascinating to see if Luis Campusano gets an at-bat at all. The Cubs do have a lot of left-handed relievers.
Yep.
He's good. He's a very good hitter against left-handers. I mean, he has been on the big league level. Not this year, but in the past, even on the big league level. He hit like over 300 against lefties on the big league level before. He's a valid option for you to come off for a big pinch hit against a left-handed reliever.
My only beef with it at all was if this was even going to be a possibility, right? Why not have him up getting ABs at the big league level instead of throwing him into a playoff game potentially?
Because didn't Elias Diaz get hurt late in the season, and he wouldn't have made the team if Diaz were healthy?
He did, but again, they're not looking at him as a catcher. They're looking at him as a right-handed pinch hitter against a left-handed
You're
pitcher.
saying if Diaz were healthy, then Maldonado wouldn't have been on the roster.
Yeah, I think so.
Campy
right.
I
think Campy was maybe a possibility either way, right? Because I don't if Diaz is healthy, I still think Campusano's on this roster. So why not have him up a little bit, getting
It's an interesting thought. I mean, they had a couple of games at the end where
100%.
they could have brought him up and gotten him a few at-bats.
100%. That's my only beef. That's my only beef. But again, I think, and Campy being on the roster, product of Laureano's injury. Yeah, but Laureano got hurt 10 days ago, whatever. Like, there was times he could have gotten some work. He didn't. So we move forward. But, yeah, I just there's nobody that we've left off that is not injured that I'm really going to miss at all. I'm actually thrilled I don't have to watch Yuki Matsui pitch. No offense to Yuki Matsui. I'm beyond thrilled. Even if that means we have to go to Michael King to get a tough lefty out instead of Yuki Matsui, I'm okay with it.
I do think that the Padres fan base is okay with that, and probably the coaching staff as well.
Yeah.
Michael King is, you're going to trust him more, even for a short outing, probably than Yuki Matsui.
Yep.
All right, let's take a timeout. When we come back, we've got some press conferences we can get to. Mike Shildt will be the first to speak as soon as he's up at the podium. We will go live.
As soon as he's up.
At the podium.
He's awake.
He's definitely
awake. You think he's
Yeah.
awake right now?
No, I think he's up right now.
Oh, okay.
We will go live back to Wrigley Field, hear from the skipper of the San Diego Padres. That is coming up here next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. First, though, this is the last day of September. October baseball is here, but it is still the last day of September, which means it's your last day to take advantage of the $200 off special at sdfatloss.com. Grab the discount and lose up to 20% of your body weight before the end of November, before the holiday season is in full swing. You can look and feel amazing before the new year with no resolutions, and you can do it all the way I did it by eating real foods from the grocery store, things that you choose and you like. I ate a lot of chicken and steak, but fish is good. There's certain vegetables that are good. Your counselor, your coach will explain all of this, how you can lose up to a pound of fat per day. And again, 10 to 20% of your body weight. I lost 40 pounds in 60 days. Matt Scraby lost 40 pounds. Chris Ello lost 37 pounds. John Flint down the hall lost a ton of weight. And so many tier ones. We're into the thousands of pounds lost, San Diego, around the tier 1 community. Love it. You could be next. Just go to sdfatloss.com, schedule your free consultation. They'll, again, explain the program. There's no injections, no hormones. You don't need to exercise. It's simply about eating right at the right times. They'll coach you through it. And then because it's based on real foods, so much easier to maintain that weight loss. I've kept my weight off for 2 years plus now. You can do it as well. You just have to get it started. Take advantage, though, today. $200 off in September, ending today. Go to sdfatloss.com. That's sdfatloss.com. Results may vary.
The spa with this. Ah. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Humul Casino Resort, now open.
To watch party coming up tomorrow at Park 101 in Carlsbad. Join Ben and Woods, Braden Soprano Show, Gwen and Chris Show to watch Game 2 tomorrow from Wrigley. Park 101 is a bi-level sports bar with a rooftop deck, huge screens, got North County's best barbecue, craft cocktails, and we'll be giving away not only autographed baseballs, but our fearless leader Michael has also contributed this beautiful piece that I am modeling on YouTube, a Xander Bogaerts signed Padres jersey that we will also bring along tomorrow to give away at Park 101. It is all presented by Estrella Jalisco Light Mexican Lager. Join us tomorrow, Park 101, located at 3040 Carlsbad Boulevard in the Carlsbad Village.
I hope I can get some of that delicious barbecue down because I just had a protein shake. I could barely get it down, and now I'm even having trouble keeping it
The nerves
down.
are real.
The nerves are so real. What do you got in your lunchbox over there? I saw you brought a big, Adam clearly has no problem eating on game day. Let's
do traffic, and you start rifling through it, and then we're going to go to traffic. And when we come back, as we wait for Mike Shildt to speak pregame, we can go through Adam's lunch here next on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is brought to you by AleSmith Brewing Company. $6, $3.94 pints, big screens, cold beer, and playoff baseball. Still busy ride on some of our freeways. The northbound 5 cleared an accident near East Street. We have this other crash near Mile Cars Way. Looks like that is over to the right shoulder. Also traveling on eastbound 8 just past Mission Gorge Road. Collision over to the right shoulder. Traveling on southbound 5 Coastline just before La Costa. Accident blocking the 2 left lanes. Up ahead, accident in the center divide near Encinitas Boulevard. Collision on eastbound 78 right before Twin Oaks Valley Road. A couple vehicles involved there in the center divide. October baseball is here. Catch every pitch at Ale Smith Brewing Company. Enjoy $6 pints of our legendary $3.94 Pale Ale. Cheer on the brown and gold with big screens, cold beer, and the best fans in town. Located off Miramar Road. Ale Smith Brewing. There's no better place to watch the playoffs. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, looks like a fairly full lunchbox over there for Adam.
It really.
I haven't brought a lunchbox anywhere in years.
I haven't either, and I like this one. It's a nice setup. My kids carry one that's similar to school every day. Is the lineup out? No, somebody deleted it. Oh, wait. Lineup is out. Let's go. Let's bang the lunch. Let's go to the
lunch
lineup.
is banged.
Lunch
we now
has
have a
been banged.
lineup. We'll hear from Mike Shildt momentarily to talk about this lineup, but it is set.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Looks like a fairly normal lineup.
Yep.
Fernando Tatis Jr. will lead off and play right field. Luis Ariz will bat second and play first base.
Okay.
Manny Machado hitting third at third base. Jackson Merrill will bat cleanup and play center field. Xander Bogaerts at shortstop batting fifth. Ryan O'Hearn will be the designated hitter batting sixth. Gavin Sheets will play left field, bat seventh. Jake Cronenworth playing second base, batting eighth. Freddie Fermin doing the catching, batting ninth for Nick Pivetta. So, what stands out?
Oh, obviously the lefty lane there with O'Hearn, Sheets, and Cronenworth. That's something that immediately jumped off the page. Not saying we can't handle it, but that is something, if you're Craig Counsell, you're like, okay, check. Like that's the lane.
They've got three lefties in their bullpen.
Yep.
Thielbar, Rogers, and Pomerantz. So that's
how fitting.
All three times. If they come up in the fifth, the seventh, and the ninth, they can deploy their lefties against those lanes if they want. It's a clear potential weakness for the Padres in this series.
Yeah, and everyone is on the Ryan O'Hearn should be playing first base instead of Luis Ariz train too. Yeah, I agree. There's nothing you can really say other than we should be used to this and not be surprised by it even a little bit. But that lane does present some interesting issues. It really does. Have not seen the Cubs lineup yet. But yeah, to go lefty is certainly an interesting choice. I really hope it works.
So Mike Shildt is going with consistency. No one should be unfamiliar with their roles in this game.
You got your best players in there, right? Your best players.
I think Sheets had been batting ahead of O'Hearn lately, but he's been cold, so they dropped him down a little bit to seventh as opposed to sixth, but you still have them all in the same lane there.
Yeah, they're all in the same lane. They've been flip-flopped a little bit. But yeah, hey, listen, it is what it is. It's playoff baseball. Get a job done when score more runs than they do, and you're fine.
I don't mind Luis Ariz at number 2 now. I complained about it along with some of the other hosts on this station earlier in the season. Guy's on a 15-game hitting streak. He's had many multi-hit games lately. I want him batting fairly early in the order right now.
Sure.
You're going to be relying on him. Your best chance to go forward is for Luis Ariz to continue to hit the way that he has hit. He's hit like a batting champion. My complaint earlier in the season was he wasn't hitting like a batting champion.
He wasn't walking and
he wasn't getting
hitting
on base.
Yeah.
So I was thinking bottom of the order, but he's been hitting a lot lately. This would not be the time to move him down now. So I'm okay with that. Definitely concerned. As for the defensive, choice, I know what the metrics say, at least the ones that we see. Padres metrics have, Mike Shildt has said many times, our metrics basically say otherwise. They say Luis Ariz is the better defensive first baseman. Internal metrics that we don't get to see. Mike Shildt has said Luis Ariz is not only the Padres' best first baseman, he's the best first baseman in the National League, according to the Padres' internal metrics. Okay. So, I mean, would you play the best first baseman in the National League if you had him? I think you would. I don't know how they come up with their metrics.
My metrics tell me I look a lot like Matthew McConaughey. The regular
Your internal metrics?
My internal metrics. The other people's metrics say I look a lot like Kevin James. So again, as long as what it matters to me is my internal metrics. Okay. Cubs lineup's out as well. Would you like to hear it?
Yes, let's hear it.
Michael Busch will lead off.
He's been hot lately.
He has been ridiculous. Michael Busch will lead off and play first base. Nico Horner will play second base and bat second. Ian Happ in left field, batting third. Kyle Tucker, the DH. Seiya Suzuki in right. Carson Kelly behind the dish. Pete Crow Armstrong in the 7. Playing center field. Dansby Swanson at shortstop. And Matt Shaw playing third base, batting ninth. Good lineup. Very, very, very good.
Scary
lineup.
to have PCA all the way down at 7.
Oh,
It does
yeah.
show you how much he struggled in the second half of the season.
So I'm looking at
He was an MVP candidate in the first half.
I'm looking at their lanes. And Happ is a switch hitter, as we've discovered. Kyle Tucker's they go lefty, righty, switch, lefty, righty, righty, lefty, righty, righty.
Some righties at the bottom to
Some,
potentially take advantage of. Padres have some good righties in the bullpen.
It's deep. It's a good lineup.
It is.
It's
I mean,
very.
that's always been their
balanced.
biggest advantage.
Yep.
The lineup depth that they have is better than not just the Padres, but most teams in baseball.
Yeah.
It's what got the Cubs to the playoffs this year was their lineup depth. So they're going to be relying on those guys at the bottom of the order to come through for them and offset, the Padres' advantages in bullpen and star power that the Padres have at the top of their lineup.
Yeah. Jake said, Ben, there's no way to say that and not laugh at you when you say, when you have the best first baseman in baseball, wouldn't you play him?
Mike Shildt has said many times that after the
I
first
know he
month or
has.
so that
I know
they
he
think that
has.
Arise is playing elite level defense.
I hope he
at
makes
first base.
50 picks today. I hope he has the
I'm
game
just
of his life.
explaining what their thinking is, and I've heard him say it enough times that I know what their thinking is, and they feel like he's been playing elite level first base.
Yep.
So that's who they're going to have at first
Hey, look,
base.
at the end of the day, I'm just happy that our best hitters are in the lineup today. They really are. Our best hitters available are all in the lineup. Would I have deployed them differently? I don't know. Maybe. Just to break up that string of lefties, but hopefully it doesn't come back to haunt us because, O'Hearn hits lefties really well. We'll be okay. Just got to score more runs. I'm not crashing out East County, Chris. I feel fine. I'm just about to vomit protein shake, but other than that, I'm good.
I'm glad you're good.
Yeah.
This is also prediction season as we wait on Mike Shildt, and I thought I saw the best prediction this morning from Grant Brisbee in The Athletic, who has decided that no one is going to win the World Series this year.
It's probably
pretty good prediction.
This
actually
would be the year that it happens.
And
right?
he wrote what I think is the greatest paragraph of
He's
the
so
postseason
good.
so far. It says, the Dodgers look gassed, and their bullpen is a science experiment. The Yankees' bullpen is also shaky, and so is the Blue Jays. Upon closer inspection, all of these bullpens are shaky, although the Padres have a great one. That's important because it helps paper over the fact that the Padres had 5 of the least productive lineup spots in baseball. I won't even get started on the Guardians lineup because you, the person reading this, are hitting leadoff for game 1, and I don't want you to get discouraged. The Tigers have lost 14 of their last 13 games, give or take. The entire Brewers roster is a bunch of comments whose baseball cards wouldn't appear in an issue of Beckett's Baseball Card Monthly. The Red Sox have a top-heavy rotation. The Phillies will be without Zach Wheeler, and the Mariners wish they had last year's rotation. The Cubs had the best lineup in the National League according to OPS Plus, but were merely average in the second half. The Reds also appear to be in the postseason, possibly because of a typographical error.
It's incredible. I mean, he's absolutely right about all of that. And the one thing that is constant in playoff baseball is this. Oh, you were really good defensively in the regular season. Expect to make 3 errors in game 1. Oh, your bullpen was lights out. Expect them to cough up the lead. Oh, your starters were terrible. Watch them lock in. Oh, your power hitter is on a torrid pace. Watch him go over. It sucks. It sucks, and it's awesome because
Aaron Judge has not been a playoff producer.
You literally
Will that change?
You don't know what you're going to get. You just don't know. I'll never forget the much maligned Phillies defense. Oh, these guys are horrible. It's going to kill them in the postseason. Nick Castellanos turned into Roberto Clemente in right field. All of a sudden, in like 4 games, he's robbing home runs. He's sliding. He's diving into the stands. It's just bananas. So anything, the bright lights make guys do weird things, good and bad. That's exactly right, Sean. Well put.
All right, let's go out to Wrigley Field. Mike Shildt at the podium. Pre-game news conference for game 1.
Give me 1 second, AJ. We're just in the mics.
As they're working on the mics, I'll remind you our coverage of postseason press conferences is presented by Trust and Will. Don't wait for extra innings. Protect your family's estate today with Trust and Will. Again, they are setting up the microphones right now for Mike Shildt. This is instead of the pregame scrum, Woods. They do actually news conferences in the postseason.
I've watched baseball
before.
Just
kind of vamping a little bit while we wait for Mike to start speaking here. There you go.
What went into Diaz and kind of where he is in terms of his readiness? Maybe obviously not this round, but potentially going forward. How is he feeling?
I think we're optimistic moving forward for next round, but yesterday worked out and was able to move around enough to where there was a conversation to say, okay, can he go or can he not? But once we, talked with medical and even spoke with Elias, he was pretty honest, disappointed, but honest, and said, listen, I don't know if I can really go and trust it. And we know we're at a point where he is with what he's dealing with, that he could really, be lost for the rest of the year. So, but we're also at a point where if he got some rest, there's optimism he could be okay moving forward. So that's the route we took.
What went into the decision then to carry 3 catchers, and how could that allow you to maneuver potentially within games?
Yeah. So, listen, obviously AJ, had the final call on it, and we spoke a lot about it and took a lot of opinions about it, and, landed where we did with 3 catchers. It impacted Wagner, the left-handed bat. There's a lot of different ways this thing could go, but, we really primarily look at Freddie being the guy. Freddie's taken good at bats and played well. So that's part of that. Maldi obviously is, experienced guy that is a very defensive oriented guy that can, come in and take care of it if we need to. And then Campy can do it as well. But, Campy's more of a bat if we need something at some point.
A few more for Mike. Go to Jesse on the left side.
Mike, if you wouldn't mind just kind of reflecting on Nick Pavetta's season. Obviously came in, had a career year, first year with the organization.
Yeah, fantastic year for Nick. Really excited for him, and definitely has earned this opportunity to be our number 1 guy to start off this playoffs. And, he's come in. I've said this, but, the fit was clear for us, AJ, Ruben, myself, even before he signed on what was going to be a 30 to 40 minute, Zoom call, kind of exploratory free agent conversation, turned into an hour and a half that AJ and Ruben and myself sat, got done with, and like, wow, this is a great fit. And clearly Nick felt the same way and signed, and it really has been seamless the day he's first stepped into our spring training complex in Peoria, and just worked really well with our other starting pitchers. That group's connected, him and Joe and Michael and Darvish and Dylan and Vasquez. That whole group has just clicked, and he's clicked with Ruben in the pitching department, and he's just been a great fit, and he's pitched well all year, and I'm glad he's been with us, because I wouldn't have wanted to imagine this year without him.
Dennis, straight back on the right side.
Hey, Mike, I know you saw it on the other side in 2020, but what was it like last October seeing Tatis, he was still dealing with that stress reaction, really elevate his game in the playoffs, and what are you expecting from him along those lines?
Yeah, I mean, I saw it last year too in 2024. He was pretty good and dominated. So on the other side in 2020, in the playoffs and the wild card series, he's a dynamic force. He just is, and he's the kind of guy that appreciates this moment. We got a lot of guys that, as the lights get brighter, they shine more. So he's definitely the head of that class, and here we go, and excited to watch him go play.
Steve on the left side.
Hi, Mike. I'm not suggesting you're all stressed out about facing the Cubs, but on the eve of the playoffs, like, what's the last thing you're thinking about the Cubs that makes them worrisome to play? What's the first thing you're thinking about in the morning about these Cubs?
Yeah, I think we're in awareness. I mean, listen, they're in big picture, they're a good team. They're well managed. They're talented. They clearly have improved their bullpen since we saw them in April. They've got really good position players that can compete in a lot of different ways. But Boyd, the starter's very, very good pitcher. They got a nice ball club, so it's really nothing specific. There are specifics to things that we are aware of, and how we're going to compete and think about managing the game. There's not one thing that goes, oh my gosh, let's worry about that in particular. I don't know if I'd tell you if there was anyway, but it's more the total. They got a nice team. We got to respect a lot of what they do, and but we got to take care of what we can take care of.
Go to Jeff all the way in the back on the right.
Mike, Diaz has caught all of Pavetta's starts. What's the challenge with getting Fermin in there, and maybe what's the preparation been like? for him to kind of take over?
I don't think it's a huge challenge. I mean, it's, even speaking to Nick prior to yesterday, listen, he's got a good working relationship with Diaz, but, Nick also said, look, I have thrown to other people before in my career. Freddie's, called a lot of guys. I don't think it's going to be a real challenge to, Nick can think and do for himself. Freddie understands the lineup, and I think they'll work really well together.
That was Mike Shildt live from Wrigley Field in Chicago. We're going to take a quick top of the hour timeout. When we come back, we expect to hear from Dylan Cease, the Game 2 starter. A surprise for some people, but he will talk ahead of tomorrow's outing. Of course, we're all leading up to Padres Cubs playoff baseball at noon today here on 97.3 The Fan. Don't go away. Ben and Woods continuing next year on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Working on executing pitches, just having a high level of focus and intensity with everything I'm doing. And at the end of the day, just, treat it with as much intensity and focus as I can.
Far left.
Dylan, you got your first taste of postseason baseball playing for a team in this city. How has your kind of idea of pitching in the playoffs kind of evolved as you've gotten more experience doing it? Or are you still just as excited as the first time?
No, I think it's it's obviously very exciting. It's always higher stakes. It's always more in the line, which is fun and exciting. So I'm viewing it the same way. I want to have some better results than I have had, but I'm excited.
Go to Jeff in the back on the right side.
Hey,
Dylan. Can you recall the day you were traded from the Sox or from the Cubs to the Sox, and what your feelings are about starting your career with the Cubs?
Yeah, it was. I remember it was a early morning call back in I think 2017. They drafted me out of high school, rehabbed my elbow. I mean, I got Tommy John surgery immediately, so I spent the first probably the first 2, 3, 4 years, whatever it was, 3 years maybe, rehabbing and kind of just learning how to be a professional with them. So I definitely have no hard feelings towards them, but it's feels like a lifetime ago.
Was it a shock when it happened? I mean, are you even thinking about being traded at that time?
It wasn't a shock. I kept getting pushed back, and I remember that was kind of like a running joke everyone on the team was having, but it wasn't. I didn't think it was imminent. We were kind of just messing around with it, but things like that happen in baseball.
A few more for Dylan. We'll go back to the left side there.
Dylan, this Padres team has a lot of postseason experience, a lot of guys who have played in the postseason. What has it been like being part of a team, whether last year or this year, with a bunch of guys who expect to be playing at this time of year?
Yeah, it's definitely part of the culture. I think the most telling thing is, when we go through bad stretches or streaks where we're not playing as well as we should, there's never really a panic. It's everyone kind of just stays even keel and just goes about their business. And, this stretches seem to work themselves out, which is cool. I think you see maybe a lot of teams that don't have that culture or that confidence, maybe something like that can spiral. But with this team, it feels like we get them back on track pretty quickly.
AJ?
Dylan, last season obviously didn't end the way you wanted it to. What do you take from that playoff series against the Dodgers into this year, if anything? And kind of do you view this season as a chance to set that right at all?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of taking anything from it, I'm kind of just leaving that in the past. At the end of the day, it's about executing, so I'm just setting myself up to execute as well as I can. I'm glad I have that experience. The more experience, the better when it comes to playoffs. Kind of how to slow things down or what it's going to feel like or what to expect. But I'm just honestly leaving that in the past and just attacking this year.
Jesse on the left side.
Dylan, you've had a front row seat to Nick Pavetta's career year this year. Just kind of picture to picture, what have you seen? What have you enjoyed watching?
Yeah, he's been about as consistent as I've ever seen. It's every start you're going to get. He's commanding his fastball. He's throwing 2 breaking balls for strikes. He was dominant this year. It was about as good as I've ever seen live.
Any last ones for Dylan? Marty, second row.
Hey, Dylan, how long did last year's playoff exit stay with you, and what does this particular opportunity with this group of guys mean to you?
Yeah, I think, I don't know, in a sense, it never really leaves. It's part of your story and your history, I suppose. But, I would say most of the offseason for sure. But, at the end of the day, I think when a new season starts, it's kind of a new opportunity and brings a freshness about it. But, yeah, that one definitely stung.
All right, Dylan, we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Hey, listen to live coverage of the postseason press conference presented by Trust and Will. Don't wait for extra innings. Protect your family's estate today with trustandwill.com. It is Ben and Woods here on 97.3 The Fan. Yeah, we're a little off our normal schedule.
We are.
So trying to figure out everything as we go. Fernando Tatis Jr. is also expected to speak momentarily. Adam, just let me know if Fernando steps to the podium. We can get back. Dylan C. certainly sounded calm ahead of his, biggest start, maybe of his life tomorrow in Game 2 of the National League WildCard Series.
Yeah.
Is that a good thing? I would assume so.
Yeah, I like that he said all the right things, certainly. Talking about focus and execution. That's what you're begging for from Dylan Cease tomorrow. Again, fastballs up in the zone, play against the Chicago Cubs. So Dylan Cease is a guy that has the ability to do that.
He wasn't running away from his poor performance on 3 days rest against the Dodgers last year. Said, yeah, that's part of my story now.
Yeah.
You never really get away from it, but this is obviously a new year and a new opportunity, and I don't think he's going to wear it like an albatross around his neck either.
Nor should you. Yeah.
No, and he can't, because many guys, Clayton Kershaw being one, has had plenty of bad playoff performances, but all it takes is really one good run to change that narrative, going forward. We heard from Mike Shildt earlier.
Interesting.
I thought maybe we both kind of had our ears perked up at the discussion about the decision to carry 3 catchers, both Martin Maldonado and Luis Campusano, calling it AJ Preller's decision.
Yeah, final decision went to AJ on that one.
He also made it very clear he does not expect Campy to do any catching. He views him as a bat, and Maldi is viewed as the backup to Fermin, who is supposed to catch every inning if possible.
Yep, that's exactly right.
I would think if Mike Shildt thinks things go well, he won't see either of those guys in any of these 3 games.
Correct.
Freddie Fermin will play well, will hit well, and will catch all 3 of these games, and hopefully Elias Diaz will be back, as he said was possible for a division series against the Milwaukee Brewers, but he just wasn't quite ready to go over the next 3 days after testing it yesterday.
Yeah, the main thing I'm going to be looking at today, Benny, is again, a couple different things jumped off the page. That answer, I think, from Shildt was like, oh, my ears perked up. Certainly. Nope. That was AJ's call, right? So that was an AJ Preller decision. We can lament the fact over and over that Campy didn't even get an AB at the big league level since June or whatever it was. He was sent down. I don't know. I mean, if you get to a situation there and it's the 7th inning, and let's say Gavin Sheets' spot is coming up and they have a lefty in there who just got Ryan O'Hearn out and it's his first batter he's faced, do you make that switch right there? Do you pull the trigger and go with Luis Campusano if you're Mike Shildt? If
you don't, why is Luis Campusano on the roster?
Correct. Why is he there? That's the spot.
I guess he can be an emergency catcher, whereas Will Wagner probably can't.
Correct. But again, you never really think about him catching. You think about him as your right-handed power bat, which he displayed in AAA at a prodigious rate. Prodigious.
I would say, Brandon, you mentioned Jose Iglesias. I would think if there was a pinch hit, Iglesias would be the first righty off the bench. But remember, you go extra innings, these games can go 12, 13, 17 innings. There's no Manfred man on second base. So you may need your whole roster at some point. And AJ Preller wanted Luis Campusano to be on that roster.
Yes, he did.
It's just in case. We'll see if he gets an at-bat. I would put the over-under at 1/2 of one at-bat in this series for Luis Campusano, and I would probably bet the under.
Take the under.
If that was me, knowing that Mike Shildt's the one making that decision, even though he's there, he doesn't have to use him.
Margie says Campusano's a non-factor. Let's stop talking about him. He's on the playoff roster. So by definition, he's not a non-factor. He's on the playoff roster, available to be used.
He's breathing dugout oxygen.
That's exactly right. He's got a uniform and everything. May not need a glove. But he may need his BGs, his batting gloves. It will be interesting. There's so much interesting stuff about that press conference, about this playoff roster and what it looks like.
All right, Adam, you want to take a timeout and wait for no? We're going to stick around here. He gave me the shake me off.
Shook you off?
Yeah, I was calling for the reliever. He goes, no, you're staying out there. You're wearing it. We need another couple of innings out of you until Fernando Tatis Jr. heads to the podium. So we can continue to discuss Padres playoff roster. Playoff lineup is out for Game 1 against the Chicago Cubs. It does feature a lefty lane at the bottom with O'Hearn, Gavin Sheets, and Jake Cronenworth all in a row there at 6, 7, and 8 ahead of Freddie Fermin. You could have batted Fermin 8th and moved Jake down to 9th to break it up. But I don't know that Jake is any worse against lefties than Fermin is necessarily. He's not exactly, an offensive superstar at the bottom of your lineup. So that's what Mike Shildt's going to go with here.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I thought maybe there was a potential to even stack some righties. They did not. They're just going to leave it open there. So we'll see. It's certainly, again, if you're Craig Counsell, you look at it and you go, all right, there's my strategy comes into play, and you just hope it doesn't come back to bite you.
All right, let's go back out to Wrigley Field. More pregame press conferences. Here's Fernando Tatis Jr.
Who wants to start? AJ, down here in the front.
Fernando, we obviously know that you've had success in the postseason. I'm just wondering, what particularly do you like about playing on the postseason stage?
Starting with the energy, obviously, just the environment itself, and then after all, it's like you're either winning or going home. I don't know. I ain't trying to go on vacation yet.
What do you make of this offense the last week or so and the way it's kind of come together? And can that matter going into the postseason? Obviously, it's a different game in the postseason, but do you think that can carry into October?
I feel like it definitely matters. Especially created that confidence going to the end of the season, which is really big. And I feel like we have created a good momentum just to going into the playoff as an offense.
A few more for Fernando. Go right here in the middle, and then to Dennis.
Fernando, what's it been like playing all season long with expectations of getting back to the postseason? How does the kind of postseason experience of this group kind of help you guys moving forward?
I mean, that's kind of what we want as a group. The expectation, and obviously making it to the playoff is even more important. But just a really good, special group of guys coming together for one mission. And I feel like that's the best part when you're playing to win it all.
Dennis.
Fernando, looking back now, how different was it playing in front of fans last October as opposed to 2020 when it was still intense, but you had empty stadiums?
It's definitely different. I mean, the fans make all the difference in the world, especially roaring stadium. That's what you want. That's the one you want to feel, and having a huge crowd. That's a different game changer.
Jesse on the left side.
Fernando, what are some of the unique challenges of playing the outfield in this ballpark, particularly in the daytime?
Sun, wind, fans. All that comes together, but it's gonna be a fun time here in Chicago. So I'm just looking forward to it. But definitely the sun and the wind playing together is definitely a factor.
Right back to Dennis.
Yeah, the stress reaction you were playing through last October. Looking back, how do you think you're able to have so much success despite that? And right now, would you say you're 100%?
Just taking care of my body. Different season. You just keep learning from yourself as a player, as your body reacts to. But feel like we have found a good way how to keep myself healthy, and looking forward to more years of that.
Would you say you're 100% or as close to it as you can be this year right now?
Yeah, pretty up there. So yeah.
Bring them. We'll go back to Jesse, and then we'll come up here on the right side.
Sorry, just back to the outfield thing. What advice might you give somebody who maybe hasn't played a ton of outfield here in terms of that stuff? Are there any things to do that can kind of keep you in a better position?
Just simple stuff, like yesterday we practiced at game time, and we were seeing how the sun was playing. So just good communication in the outfield. It's going to be really huge, especially with fly balls in between. Just don't give up on anything, because the wind is just a really big factor over here, and just attention to details.
Come up here, second row on the right.
Do you have a sense of what it's going to be like here at Wrigley, the atmosphere, the environment for this?
It's up there. It's one of the best experiences you can get as a player. Playoff and Wrigley. It's really special, especially knowing all the history this ballpark has, and just looking forward to it.
Marty?
And I noticed you and AJ and Luis kind of taking in Wrigley Field from the seats a short time ago. Can you just speak to what the messaging has been from your GM through the ups and downs of this long season?
I mean, he has our back no matter what. He has created a culture over here, and he's the first one to embrace it. So AJ's definitely a great leader, and just talking about the opportunity that we have being over here, playoff baseball, like I mentioned earlier at Wrigley, it's one of the best experiences you can get as a baseball player, as a front office. Doesn't matter what part of the team you are, it's just a really special moment, and we were just enjoying it together.
I think Pedro's got one up front in Spanish.
Fernando, el escenario mientras más grande es, parece sacar lo mejor de tu producción. Compártenos un poco lo que significan estos momentos tan grandes que se presentan en tu carrera.
All right, that's Fernando Tatis Jr. and our coverage of the postseason press conferences, again, presented by Trust and Will. Don't wait for extra innings. Protect your family's estate today with Trust and Will. We will break down everything you kind of heard there, and I want to look at the other games today. We got a first game starting in about 45 minutes, Woods, in the American League Wildcard Series, so we can take a look at some of those matchups. We'll do all of that coming up, get caught up, and finish up with Ben and Woods going until 10 o'clock this morning on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000-466. For a full list of games and rules, play at 7 Mile Casino. Visit 7milecasino.com.
First, though, if you're looking for somewhere to unwind after the stress of this week, I know some people get a little nervous when they sit down at a card table. Other people find it quite relaxing. You do you, but make sure you do it at 7 Mile Casino. Our card room is the best card room in San Diego. It's upscale. It's comfortable. Smells good in there. It's clean. I mean, that's not a small thing. When you go into a card room, you want to make sure that it's kept up
card
nicely.
room? I
room.
love a card room here in Green Bay. Check out 7 Mile Casino. Anytime you want to play cards.
Right there off Lake Michigan.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Blackjack and Pai Gow poker and Baccarat, Texas Hold'em, all kinds of fun stuff. Smoke-free environment.
Not sure if you can eat any cheese curds, but
you
you can certainly eat 24/7 off the players menu at Sammy's at 7 Mile, including the weekend brunch, which was voted best in the South Bay, Saturdays and Sundays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Go ahead and finish this up.
How are you? Just head on down the 5 to 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accident.
Okay, player. This is all yours. This room with this view. This speakeasy with this cocktail. Hey, could you make that too? The spa with this. Ah. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Humul Casino Resort. Now open.
Games today. I know we're focused on the one, but
it's like a baseball orgy.
We got three
wait.
other games, including one that starts in about 40 minutes at 10:08 a.m. Pacific time. A rematch of, actually the same series that has been played the last three Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
3 weeks.
3 weeks. This will be the third week in a row that the Detroit Tigers have taken on the Cleveland Guardians. In fact, I believe today's game is a rematch of last Tuesday's game with Tarek Skubal going for the Tigers and Gavin Williams pitching for the Guardians. Last week, of course, the Guardians won that game, set them up to end up winning the division on the last day of the season, but it wasn't like they hammered Tarek Skubal. If you remember, he had that one inning where nothing left the infield. He committed an error and kind of turned that game around, and Cleveland went on to win, but you certainly like Detroit's chances with Tarek Skubal on the mound in game 1 of the series today. And if you take game 1, you like the chances of the Detroit Tigers to advance and take that series. So I'm kind of leaning still toward Detroit, despite their massive struggles over the last month and a half of the season.
Well, I mean, you want to talk about exhaling, right? Like getting into the playoffs for them was such a struggle. And every day it was, how can you be playing this poorly when you guys were, running away with it for so long? How can you be playing so poorly? You're probably not going to get in the playoffs. And, literally by some miracles, they did. They got in. And now, like we talked about all morning, 0. Everyone's 0-0, and with the Guardians, you do get a sense, Ben, out of every playoff team, they're going to be the most loose. They're going to be way more loose than the Reds.
House money.
The most house money you could put. You walked into the casino, the guy gave you, here's 10 grand. Have a great day. You're like, I'm going to have the best day of my life. I can double down on 12s and I can do whatever I want. This is not my money. Have you ever been given house money?
No. Oh, yeah. One time when we went to 7 Mile, that was cool. They handed us some chips.
They handed me some house money one time, and I had the time of my life playing California-style blackjack. It's exactly what the Cleveland Guardians are going through. They are as loose and as breezy and easy today as anybody on the planet. They're probably the only team in the playoffs that's like, hey, man, it's Tarek Skubal. This will be a blast. And I think they have the right skipper. Nothing would surprise me in the playoffs, but it's going to be such a fun. Like I said earlier, I'm so glad we get to watch some of this game first to prime yourself for the excruciating agony of playoff baseball.
I picture Ben being given house money and
putting it in his pocket. Yeah. I'm surprised
he
did
not. No, you have to give back whatever you don't win. You got to try to win something so then you can keep it. But then you give back what they borrowed, or your little an advance, as it were.
Yeah, I did that. I did. I actually won money and gave back.
You did.
The house
you won a lot
money.
that day.
I did.
You did well.
Well, you can double down. Let's have a ball. It's house money. So
that's the playoffs. If the cards come out right a couple of days, you get hot. You can make a lot in the postseason. The second game, of course, is Padres Cubs. Third game of the day at 3:08 p.m. is Red Sox Yankees. Garrett Crochet against Max Fried.
What a freaking wild card. In Yankee Stadium. It's honestly, who knows? Who knows with those guys? You gotta like Boston's chances with Crochet going, but Fried is no slouch either. And Aaron Judge, he woke up this morning. You know who's not light and breezy? Aaron Judge. He's not.
The last playoff memory you have of Aaron Judge is
dropping a fly ball
against the Dodgers in the World Series last year. Also, maybe of not hitting home runs, the way he does in the regular season.
And not only just home runs, Ben. The year he put together, the way that he won a batting title, like he is an unbelievable hitter. But he did not wake up this morning like, yes, hell yeah, nice and loose. It's Garrett Crochet, number one. Number two, the specter of your postseason failures haunting you. This is everything. It's everything. It's so much fun.
I think in that series, the Red Sox to me are the better overall team. But if the Yankees get home runs from Judge and Rice and Stanton and Chisholm,
Rice isn't even playing today.
They're unbeatable though when they hit home runs. You just don't know when they're going to hit home runs. Their bullpen's a bit of a question. They have good bullpen arms who didn't throw well down the stretch, which is kind of an interesting combination. But as you said, doesn't mean they won't throw well in the playoffs. They've all done it before. So Yankees are a dangerous team, and that series I think can go either way.
Yep.
And then finally, 6:08 tonight, the Reds at the Dodgers. Hunter Green pitching against Blake Snell.
Going to be the clunker of the day, unfortunately.
In what way?
You know what way.
Reds are going to just smoke them.
I would love to be wrong on that one.
Would you say that of all the teams... And, this will come back to bite me, of course.
Then don't say it.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
You know what I was going to say?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're going to say. Don't say it.
Okay, I won't say it. Okay. I'm thinking it, though.
That's okay. No, I mean, again, I think the Reds have a little house money. But again, you're going up against but when you free and easy is one thing when you're looking across the field and you're going, okay, it's Riley Green and it's Gleyber Torres. And it's another thing entirely look across the field and go, that's Shohei Ohtani and that's Mookie Betts. That's Freddie Freeman. That's Blake Snell, who, again, I kind of speculated at the beginning of the year, you won't see him pitch early in the year because you don't need April, May, June Blake Snell.
Other than Yamamoto, their starters have all pitched like 60 innings.
Of course, which is a brilliant strategy as it turns out. Now, it did not get them the West. It did get them the West. It did not get them a first-round bye, which I thought it would. They're going to have to pitch a little bit extra, but who's fresher than that rotation from all of their phantom injuries that they had all season long? Nobody manipulated their roster better than the LA Dodgers. Still ended up having to play in a wild card series, but the strategy was very obvious since spring training, and they did it.
It feels like the timing of the playoffs is good for the Dodgers. Mookie Betts, who struggled most of the season, started hitting later in the season. They've gotten most of their guys back. Max Muncy is available. Will Smith is the big question. He's still a bit of an unknown, I believe, going into this series.
Isn't he?
I don't know if he's going to be on the roster or not. He could return at some point, but I don't think he's expected for at least early in the playoffs. So that was probably the biggest injury that they're facing right now.
Ben Rortvedt has been phenomenal for them. So again, they always have guys step up at the right time. Some playoff Kike is a real thing. Guy bats 207 or something regular season, then turns into the greatest postseason hitter of all time. They have plenty of experience. I think they're going to handle the Reds fairly easily.
Good games today, no doubt about it.
No question.
Good games today. Of course, ours will start at 12:08 here on 97.3 The Fan. All right, we'll come back. Last look at the Padres matchup. Getting you ready. Our final thoughts before the playoffs are underway. Coming up next year with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. First, though, Woods and I want to remind you, we've talked about trust and will a couple of times today, but the important details for you to know. If you have not filled out your estate planning documents and you are in your 30s, 40s, 50s, you have a family, you could potentially be leaving them in a world of hurt if something should happen to you.
Yeah, no question, man. They're going to be hurt anyway, and let's at least make that situation for them a little bit easier if you can. Go to trustandwill.com, use the code radio20 when you check out. They'll give you 20% off. And then from there, Benny, you will get your estate documents shipped to you. You will notarize them, and then you will stick it in a drawer and forget it's there. Let your significant other know we've got it. This is it in case anything happens to me.
If you want to go a little more detailed, a trust can help your family get access to your funds, your assets as soon as you're gone. If you don't have that, it could take months in probate court, which can be expensive. They'll need to hire a lawyer anyway, but you can avoid all of that by going through the process now affordably with no lawyer's office involved. Again, fill out the questions. It takes you, 20, 30, 40 minutes, whatever, and then you're done. They'll send it to you. Use the code radio20 checkout. Get 20% off all your estate documents at trustandwill.com.
Spa with this. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Humul Casino Resort, now open.
You're nerve-wracked anyway on a day like today. Welcome back, Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. And then you come to work, and your rock, Paul Reindl, is out today. Like, you're already nervous as hell, anxious, a lot going on, press conferences. You're nervous. But our rock, the guy that has steered the ship for Ben and Woods since its inception, keeps me in line, keeps Ben in line, he's out today. But then we get Adam Klug as our brand manager, who I've heard no less than 4 of these, no kidding, today from over on that side.
He can extend them. He's got good,
super long,
good length on the sides.
What is going on? Are you okay?
I'm fantastic.
Are you? Oh God!
As he knocks, as I knock my water over. I had to pull my mic over.
That was incredible. That was incredible. I'm good. I'm fine. I'm totally calm.
I'm good.
I mean, are you all right over there?
I'm great.
Because I'm a nervous pervis, and when he's around, I'm even more nervous. Are you sure you're good?
I am positive. I don't even remember what I was sighing about.
I don't really.
You
either.
have some logistics issues in not knowing when a potential game 3 could be on Thursday, scheduling things for the radio station. We get it. There's a lot going on this week. We got a viewing party tomorrow. Remember, we're going to be out at Park 101 in Carlsbad. Join us for the game tomorrow. We'll be out there at noon for game 2. Park 101, bi-level sports bar, rooftop deck, huge screens, barbecue, craft cocktails. Not sure Woods will be able to keep any of that down.
No.
And we're giving away autographed baseballs and an autographed Xander Bogaerts jersey, all presented by Estrella Jalisco Light Mexican Lager. Join us tomorrow at Park 101, located at 3040 Carlsbad Boulevard in the Carlsbad Village.
Now, I have made the declaration, was inspired by my friend Billy earlier, to go pull both of my children, not just one, both children from school. There was discussion about should I just get the older one, who is way more into baseball than the younger, and is more apt to at least watch a few innings on the couch without acting like a total beehole, after. But I was then informed by my wife, if you're going to do one, you have to do both. And I said, I agree. Fairsies. It's very important with 2 kids. And I'm wondering, scale of 1 to 10, how bad is this going to backfire on me?
Pretty bad.
You think so?
Well, I just see a scenario in which in the 7th inning, you're outside playing with them.
That's not happening. No. That's not going to happen. I'm going to set the ground rules when I pick them up. We have a phone caller right now. you want to get this phone?
Oh, let's get to the phone lines.
Yeah, get to the phone.
Paul in San Diego.
Hello,
You're next
Paul.
up here on 97.3 The Fan.
Good morning, Tier 1.
I know this, Paul.
Did you hear that exchange when he just knocked over his water bottle?
Yeah, I was just calling to make sure my area is like safe and dry and hasn't been destroyed.
I think it's okay for now. How's the move going?
Dude, we're crushing it.
Good.
Long day ahead of us, unpacking and everything. But the unpacking is the fun part, I think, at least.
Yeah,
If
it
there
is.
is a fun part. If there's a fun part in the process at all, it's the unpacking. So movers are on their way to the spot right now. I'm way ahead of them in traffic and just listening to my favorite radio show.
Now, you're all set up as far as internet? Like, you're not going to get in there, because that's happened to me. I've moved in and like, hey, buddy, we got no internet for 3 weeks or whatever. I told you, I watched the Made DVD for like 3 weeks. You guys are all set up. You'll be able to watch the game and everything.
So, kind of. I have access to ESPN on my phone or iPad, like worst case scenario. Our router for our Wi-Fi is being delivered today. So it's a matter of that they could deliver it at noon. They could deliver it at 8 p.m. I don't know. So until that gets there, we can't really do much.
Yeah, you can stream on your phone, 97.3 The Fan on the Odyssey app, right, Adam? Okay, yeah, on the Odyssey app. You can listen to it, certainly. But yeah, dude, you're very missed in here.
By the way, Paulie, first big move, and you're right. The packing is the worst part, and then unpacking is kind of fun, but sneaky bad part is then getting rid of the boxes. At the end is also not fun at all.
Hey, do the bit where you email the entire company and say, hey, if anybody needs any boxes, I've got some for you. That never works. I've done that before.
That's funny because I actually did borrow some boxes from our fearless leader, Paul Reindl, and I got a good chuckle out of going through the boxes that he gave me and then seeing like, oh, that's just an Amazon box. Oh, that's not just an Amazon box. That's an Amazon box that was addressed to 97.3 to our engineers. He just was like grabbing stuff around the office. I loved it.
He's unbelievable. He's unbelievable. So now you have to get rid of
empty boxes are surprisingly expensive.
They
aren't
are.
They? You don't want to,
and
have to buy your own
it
boxes.
is such a beating to get rid of boxes. It really is a nightmare. If you can slough them off on somebody else, that's always the better plan. Now, somebody said in the chat, if we win, Paul has to not come to work tomorrow. I'm not subscribing to many of my normal, and don't get any ideas, Paulie. I'm not subscribing to many of my normal superstitions this year. I've kind of let those go by the wayside.
No, I will. I'll be prepared, I guess, to take the morning off if you really need me to. But no,
we do
I'm
not.
very much looking forward.
I mean,
to
if
being
everything
back
goes
and talking
well
about
this
Paul
October, we'll never hear from
Never
Paul
see Paulie again, right? It's like 13 wins. Paulie's like, guys, I'm begging. Can I come back to work?
Nope.
Sorry, dude. No.
Maybe next year after a losing streak, we can bring him back.
And I just came down this morning. I regret to inform you, Paulie, that you are it's corporate mandate. You're never allowed to take a day off again. Just so you know, that was enjoy it, because this is your last one ever. So hopefully you have a great time and get all your moving done and everything else. But this is the last day, so I apologize.
Fair enough. I'll take that.
All right, buddy. We love you, man. Good job. Congratulations. Have fun. Definitely try to christen the new place tonight if you get the chance. I doubt you will, but hopefully at least christen it with the Padres dub.
I'll take either.
All right. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. I would actually trade a Padres dub for that.
Not this one.
No. I'd trade that for a Padres dub.
Right.
You're
exactly.
right. Not
Yes.
that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
100%.
The regular season, fine. You can make that trade, but
Fair.
not in the playoffs.
That's exactly.
Thanks, Paulie.
Thanks,
we'll see you
brother.
tomorrow.
All right. See you guys.
Later,
All right,
buddy.
we get one last check of traffic, last look at the matchup, and then we'll turn things over to Braden at the top of the hour coming up on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Not too bad of a wrap-up for our morning drive. Just this one accident northbound side of the 805 before Mesa College. Tow truck is helping to clear it. It's mostly over to the right shoulder. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I know you're having trouble keeping food down. Can I interest you in some wellness meats? This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by U.S. Wellness Meats. U.S. Wellness Meats offers 100% grass-fed beef, pork, poultry, wild-caught seafood, and more, shipped free from family farms, presumably in boxes. Get 20% off your first order at uswellnessmeats.com.
I'm not in the mood right now, per se, for any pork, poultry, or beef.
I looked at the menu tomorrow for Park 101, and I also have trouble eating during a big game, but I may have to try some lobster tacos or some of that barbecue, I think.
Here's the difference in you and I.
I look ahead at the menu.
Well, that's one. Well. But number two, if I'm hungry, I'll just get it. If I'm not hungry, I won't eat. If it's free and you're not hungry, you will eat.
Oh, yes.
There's the difference in you and I. You're not hungry at all. But they're like, hey, it's on us. You're like, I'll take the lobster tacos. If I can't eat, I can't eat.
You got to try them, right?
And if I'm hungry, I'll eat.
They're available. Charisma, I saw that too. They said the barbecue menu online was Thursday to Sunday, although I was told they will have it for Wednesday for the viewing party, I believe. So.
Excellent. No, you did not miss Take on Woods today, Guy. It never happened. We pushed it. We'll get to it, I don't know, Friday. Honestly, I just can't see, if things go well, maybe tomorrow is more of a
We will
show.
have Buddy Black in studio tomorrow, I believe, during that 8 o'clock hour, though. So, yeah, things are a little bit different than usual during a playoff week, but looking forward to have Buddy in studio as we break down all the playoffs, and I'm sure he'll have some thoughts on the Padres-Cubs game one as well. Again, it's Matthew Boyd, Nick Pivetta. Matthew Boyd, veteran left-hander, 34 years old, has had a pretty solid career. He did make 2 starts in the playoffs last year. He had gone 8 years before he made his first playoff appearance. It was 1 out for the Mariners in 2022, and then not again until last year when he went 1-1 with the Guardians in the playoffs, and now making his 3rd career playoff start today against, of course, Nick Pivetta, who will go for the Padres in Game 1 at 12:08.
He's got good numbers, man. Really, really good numbers. He's going to go 4-seam changeup, slider, curveball, sinker. He doesn't use a lot, Benny, but he's a 4-seam fastball guy, and he's not overpowering by any stretch, but he mixes and matches his pitches very, very well. So basically you're really looking at fastball changeup. He moves the ball really, really well. So, if he leaves a mistake up, a changeup up, you can hammer him. And so the Padres will have to do that today. Very imperative, to get off to a hot start and not fall behind. I mean, that's for every playoff team. The Dodgers don't want to give up 2 runs in the first to the Reds. You just don't. It doesn't matter who you are, who you're playing. Love to see the boys get on the board in the first inning. That's my dream. I mean, you're on the road. That's a disadvantage. But the advantage is you get to take the crowd out of it in 1/2 inning. You can you go out and put up 4 runs in the first, Benny, they are going to be dead in the water as far as the crowd goes. It just is deflating.
I feel really, really excited about Fernando Tatis Jr., hearing from him today again, and the kind of playoffs and how he has risen to the occasion in the past. Obviously, he's not going to get a hit in a home run in every single at-bat, so if they don't score in the first inning, doesn't mean the end of the world either. Everybody has to get their feet kind of wet in the playoffs at some point, but I do think Fernando's in a good spot going into this postseason.
As do I. I think everybody really is. I think everybody, other than Gavin Sheets, swung the bat pretty well in the last 10 games or so. So, Luis Ariz is another one. I mean, he is a guy that can absolutely flick one out, and the next thing you know, you got runners on first and second with Manny coming up. Manny needs to have a big postseason. It goes without saying. The guys from the right side of the plate, they all make the most money. They all need to be monsters because they're going to be facing a ton of left-handers. They have to rise above all of it.
1-3-5 today, Tatis Machado Bogarts. We will have it all tomorrow to break it down and preview Game 2 from 6 to 10 a.m. That's it for us. Braden's coming up next. Thanks to Adam Klug for sitting in for Paul Reindl, for Stephen Woods. I'm Ben Higgins. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday if you can, and go Padres on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So long, everybody.